Hello everybody and welcome back to Encounter Roleplay. My name is Will, I'm a D&D sex icon. I'm back today for another episode of the Deck of Many Worlds, our viewer game, which you guys get to come along, play Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition with us each Thursday. And we got some players with us today. We're going to have some fun, so let's get into it. Let's start off by reminding ourselves of who we are and who we're going to be playing today. Let's start with our wonderful DM, Rachel. Rachel, how's it going today?
Hey, it's going pretty well. It's nearly the end of the week, even closer for me in the UK since I've got 5 hours ahead of you guys, which means it's dark and spooky, so it's going to be dark and spooky maybe. But yeah, super excited to be here, super excited to maybe be a little tougher on you guys this week since, you know, kiddie wheels are coming off. And yeah, just super looking forward to getting started.
Fantastic. And of course, we have the Birdiesaurus with us today. How's it going, my friend?
Oh my gosh, it's going so great. I've been so excited about this all week, looking forward to it. As you said, I am the Birdiesaurus, and you can find me all over the internet under that name, and I'm stoked. I'm playing Bobcat Johnson. He's a druid. He's a little bit more of a jerk than I expected him to be, but it just kind of happens that way, I guess. Oops. It's fine. It's fine.
Fantastic. We have the Cleric of Cord back with us today. Cleric, how's it going?
It's going great, Will. How are you doing?
I am doing pretty good. Pretty good. Excellent. I don't know who you're playing, though. I want to know.
Oh, well, I am playing Pepper, the gnome rogue. Oh, bit of a swashbuckler, you might say. And she has her, she does have Oscar with her, who accompanies her on all of her adventures. Oscar, her mastiff.
Fantastic. Cannot wait to meet. And of course, we have the Seven of Diamonds with us today. Seven, how's it going, my friend?
Yeah, not too bad, pal. Yourself?
Very good, very good. Who are you going to be playing tonight?
I am playing Nick Nack, an Aarakocra Ranger. He has just been strolling into town. He's down at the docks looking for probably a fight because he's a type of violent person who no one wants to speak to. But we'll see what happens.
Fantastic. And as for myself, I'll be playing Fimbal, half-elf bard, the most famous bard in all the realms. Though currently he's working down at the docks in various different roles, sort of multitasking, multi-functioning role. He's looking to push his underwear line, Absolute Heresy, although he's been having some trouble in Waterdeep. So he's looking to sort of get his foot in the door, as it were, and rebuild his lost business after his latest exploits. But before we get started today, big thank you to the 12-sided guy for the sub and for, it looks like, some wild magic there. Let us know who that may be for. But I'll run through our sponsor list here real quick as well. We are, of course, sponsored today by Fantasy Grounds, our virtual tabletop of choice, which we're playing D&D on today. If you want to check out Fantasy Grounds, they've got a Unity Kickstarter going on right now. It's well worth a look. Last time I looked, it was well over $250,000. They're smashing it through. It is going to the end of the month, so you've still got time, a couple of weeks, to get in on the ground on the Fantasy Grounds Kickstarter. But of course, you can download the demo version of the regular Fantasy Grounds right now from fantasygrounds.com or via Steam as well. And if you come and join us, then we'll have a Fantasy Grounds set up for you each Thursday here. You can come and test it out. What else? WellandGames.co.uk is a go-to destination for tabletop, war games, board games, and more, up to 20% off the retail value. And then last but not least, tabletoploot.com to sponsor the channel, and they give away a sort of tabletop loot dice every time we hit 20 retweets on this tweet. If you haven't gotten retweeted it, go ahead and do so. We're over half the way there already, and I want to give you guys some dice, so let's do it. And of course, you can donate to a Feta game as well by giving players nat 1s, nat 20s, wild magic surges, and worse. And that wild magic surge is for Rachel's choice. You can choose who gets a wild magic surge here, Rachel, so have fun with it. But that's all from me. I will hand over to you, Rachel, to remind us a little bit of what happened last week on the show and take us into tonight's episode of the Deck of Many Worlds.
Fantastic. First things first, if someone could ping me a link to the World Magic table just to make sure I've got it to reference, because I feel that's going to come up pretty soon and I look forward to victimizing someone. And yes, to recap last session, our party, as it was then, we're in the vicinity of an old antiques shop in the dock ward of Waterdeep known as Corellan's Curios, run by an... Well, it's hard to tell with elves, but appeared to be in his middling to later years elf named the Curator Markello. And whilst you were inspecting the store, I believe Pepper was having a look for potential employment opportunities for her many adoptive children. Meanwhile, Bobcat Johnson is looking for a mysterious vial that went missing for him some time ago. You heard an explosion, a blast of some kind from the warehouse behind the shop, and when you investigated, there was curiously little destruction for what there should have been. And you discovered that a powerful relic had been stolen from the warehouse, or at least part of it, because once the Deck of Many Worlds had been disturbed, the deck threw itself apart, all of the different components attempting to return to their home planes of existence that the magic they had been created from, leaving behind a pair of golden rings and one single card, the Seeker card, the one which represents the prime material plane. Armed with this card and these two rings, which adhered themselves quickly to both Pepper and Bobcat Johnson, you set about attempting to begin to track down the remainder of the cards, having found out that if you did not, the rings would tighten on your wrists until something probably unpleasant happened to the hands attached to them. And so, throughout your heroic efforts of last session, you managed to retrieve the Spring card, or the card representing the plane of the Feywild, and you returned it to the deck, having achieved your first reclamation of a card, I suppose. And it had been quite an evening. Right now we see the harbour of Waterdeep, tranquil and serene as the summer rainstorm has now passed, leaving the city to glisten and steam in the early evening sun. Countless ships are moored off the docks and throughout the harbour, rigging and masts dripping and swaying lightly in the breeze. In the distance, barely a speck on the horizon, a fishing boat is returning to the harbour, having journeyed further out into the sea in search of more valuable catch. The sun is now setting slowly, as across the city a calm descends in the wake of the strange events of the day before. And indeed, it had been quite a day. Upon your return from the Feywild, triumphant with your acquisition of the first card, Markello took the time to examine your find, and in so doing has explained its properties to you. So, Pepper and Bobcat, the Spring card is an unpredictable and playful card, imbued with great amount of wild magic. Once per day, it will allow the holder to cast the spell Speak with Plants, but in so doing, you will also have to watch out for a potential manifestation of wild magic. Markello has also offered both of you a room above the shop, Corellan's Curios, whilst you're working to help retrieve the cards, and his services in providing a limited amount of equipment support, as well as identifying the properties of any cards or other magical items you might find. So my question to both of you is, are you going to accept the offer of accommodation, or would you prefer to stay in your own dwellings for the evening and reconvene the following day?
I think that Bobcat would probably go home because he's very worried about all the creatures at the zoo. And he wants to make sure that the kids that Pepper sent over are doing an all right job and don't have any questions.
It's very wise.
Pepper's going to bundle all the kids that she sent over to the curator's shop that are now employed there and bundle them all upstairs into the room with her.
That's adorable. Well, regardless of where...
Yeah,
oh,
and Oscar.
Yes. Yeah, don't forget, Oscar is is Oscar popular with the kids? Is he
yes.
like very friendly with them?
Oh yeah, very much so. I mean, they Oscar is, as far as the kids are concerned, Oscar is one of them. But she'd send a note off to she'd send one of the kids off to Frankie to tell him to round up the ones from the zoo and make sure that they're taken care of and bedded down for the night, and then she would take care of the ones that were here at the shop.
Very responsible of you. Well, regardless of where you both elect to rest your head that night after the dizzying events of the day, you both dream. You are surrounded on all sides by wisps of pale grey vapour, and you seem to be suspended, flying perhaps, and yet you feel as if you could move freely by willing it so. You can't hear anything than perhaps a faint ringing in your ears, and there's not really any there's no sense of smell here, but you can see, and all you can see is this endless grey mist. Would you like to do anything?
Bobcat would look around, try to see if he could see anyone else or anything else, any other creatures or people, and just say hello, hello.
For me.
Perception.
Yeah.
Gotta remember how to do this. No one's there.
No.
It's fine.
How about Pepper?
Pepper has first thing she does is look to see if her rapier and dagger are on her hip, and then look for Oscar to see if Oscar is with her as well.
There is no Oscar.
Does she have her weapons?
She does have her weapons, yes.
She's going to try and move quietly through this mist to see if she can figure out what's going on.
As soon as you think about the motion of moving through the mist, your body starts to move. Even though there's not really any point of reference around you, you can sense the sensation of your body weight is now pushing through this mist, and it wisps and coils around you and dissipates. And as you are moving, and as Bobcat is trying to look around for any sign, anything to recognize, you both hear a very soft, gentle voice, almost as if it's coming from inside your own head. You can't see any particular origin of it. I wondered who had taken the other braces. A thief who gives, and a killer who nurtures. Interesting. I hope we will meet soon. And the voice fades, as does the dream, and slowly you find yourself coming to, and it's a couple of hours before dawn.
Bobcat shoots out of bed immediately, and just, who's there? Who's here? And he's just trying to see who could potentially be whispering in his dreams.
Phil, what's your passive perception, by the way? Probably just worth me knowing that.
I don't know. 13.
Okay. You don't seem to see anything. You seem to be assuming you do sleep alone in your quarters, then you appear to be alone, as you were the night before. Pepper?
Pepper makes sure all the kids are okay. Oscar's good.
Yeah, they're all still asleep fairly soundly.
And it's still in the middle of the night, correct? It's still dark
There's
outside.
still about an hour or two before dawn, yes. You reckon you could get a couple more hours sleep if you wanted?
No, she's not happy about this. She's not happy about the magic. There's been a little too much magic in her life lately, and she's not real keen on that. So I think she's going to very quietly get up, tiptoe, stepping over little bodies, and let herself out of the room, dressed, weapons on, and head downstairs and go looking for a cup of coffee and the curator to inquire about why somebody is able to invade her dreams in his establishment.
Okay. So the previous evening, when you would have been speaking to the curator upon your return from the Feywild, you would have got the lay of the building a little bit more. You know that he has his own room upstairs, all the way down the corridor from yours. And you also know that there is a little kitchen and breakfast room off a side door from the main shop. And that, interestingly, Markello also has a particular penchant for coffee, especially finer makes. There's quite a few artisan hipster coffees in this kitchen.
She's going to help herself, and she will load it up with cream and load it up with sugar, especially if there's real sugar, because that's a real treat.
Yeah,
so
he's
it's
definitely got sugar.
coffee that bears more of a passing resemblance to sweet milk. But that, yeah, so she's sitting, she's kind of sitting on the kitchen counter, drinking her coffee, waiting for him to show up.
Indeed, as you're finishing off making your coffee, you hear a voice from behind you that says, "So I see you don't intend to get back to sleep tonight. Is that true?"
Well, when people talk to me in my dreams, I tend not to sleep well.
You see that Markello is dressed in this very, very fine satin blue dressing gown with these incredibly comfy looking pale blue slippers, and looks at you with kind of a vaguely interested and curious expression. "Speaking to you in your dreams, you say? Tell you what, I'm going to make myself a coffee because it's far too early to be listening to such things without caffeine, and then you must tell me all about it."
Sure. Did you know I could feed kids for a year with cost of what you're wearing?
I don't doubt that, and I'm sure you're doing an excellent job of feeding them as it is.
Nobody's died of starvation.
Well, that can only be good news.
Yeah. Sure. Okay.
Anyway, do come sit with me, and he leads you to a little kind of a breakfast bar on the side of this little kitchen. Meanwhile, Bobcat, what would you like to do?
So he would also have a really tough time going back to sleep. He may have tried, but he could not. So he went and did his morning rounds and fed all the animals and made sure they had their little toys to play with and they were all happy as could be. And then he decided, oh my God, I just want to get this over with so I don't have to think about it anymore. So he goes ahead and gets ready and gets all his gear and heads back down to the antique shop so he can get this day over with.
Awesome. So by the time you get there, the sun will have kind of crested over, and the rays are now managing to pierce through the slightly wider streets down by the very edge of the dock ward. And by this time, Pepper, you probably would have had your conversation with Markello if you do decide to relay the entirety of the dream to him.
Yeah, just woke up. I was in a gray fog, no other sensations. And nobody else had my weapons. Yeah, there was a female voice. Something about, oh, you have the rings now. And made snarky comments about Bobcat and myself, and I'll see you later.
Interesting. Now, this is strange. The cards usually aren't able to speak to the Seekers directly, so I can't be 100% certain quite what's going on here. However, what did you see around you in this dream?
Gray fog.
Right. I'll do some research on that for you. I should have a little bit more information.
With a card?
I mean,
Really?
it's the mentioned rings. There is a very limited number of folk who might know anything about them unless they had some tie to the cards themselves. And as I mentioned last time, the cards do possess a certain level of self-awareness, perhaps, and this only develops the stronger they become. You see, if they are in possession or being used by particularly powerful individuals or mages, then they themselves can develop more power of their own. You understand? It's very much tied to who holds them and who they choose to accept. It's incredibly complicated enchantment magic. It's a lot to go into right now, and it's still very early. And at this time,
he lost her after the first two words. She's just sitting there with a cup of coffee, going.
He picks up on that after a while and kind of trails off. And at about this time, Bobcat, you would arrive.
Yeah,
So you don't
and
think
so
it was the person who took them? Wasn't the person that took the cards in my dreams, right?
as soon as
Do you ever-
Bobcat walks in and hears the word dreams or anything similar regarding that, dreams. I had a dream. What kind of dream did you had? I had this weird dream where this lady was talking about the cards and stuff. I don't know. I don't get it. What happened?
Yep, that dream.
Oh. Wait, what? So we had the same dream?
Well, that certainly
Yeah,
seems
weird,
to conclude
huh?
this is to do with the cards, then.
Oh, man, I'm liking this less every day.
Well, I'm only sorry that your good nature compelled you to involve yourself in the matter, because it seems now you don't have much of a choice. Would you like some coffee?
Yeah.
Right. Well, it's over
A
there. I'm
lot.
not making it for you.
Oh,
Help
well,
yourself.
that was a rude way to ask me then, but sure, I'll go make my own.
I'm sorry, I'm not your personal barista, but the beans are fine. You can make your own coffee, you know. He kind of has a bit of a huff. In any case,
I will,
what do you...
and I can, and I'm gonna. And he walks off.
Well, that's good. And may I ask what your plans are going forward?
Well, we got another card, I guess. So, am I to understand, and I'm asking as Birdie, am I to understand that the Seeker will always have the picture for the next card, or that each next card has the picture for the next card?
So the Seeker is the one that lets you know
Okay.
which card is closest to you, yes.
Okay, so as Bobcat, I will say, well, I've got the deck here, and I go ahead and pull out the Seeker card and say, here's what's on this card today. And
Okay, so the Seeker card has once
You can
again
tell me.
changed positions. And you would, all three of you would see this. As soon as you returned the spring card to the deck, you noticed the previous night that it had once again taken up the position of the figure staring out of an open starry window through a golden telescope. However, it is now returned to the stance holding an open book for you both on the table for you to see, frowning in concern as it points to the illustration within. This time, you see the shapes of waves rising and falling with crowns of sea foam, and in the center of this expanse, a vast whirlpool. Except, the more you look at it, the more it starts to resemble an open mouth, gaping wide as if to swallow the heavens. Underneath, you can read in the golden glyphs that spell out the words, "The Deep."
Generally,
so we have a card for the deep now.
I gotta say, going out on the ocean, we generally tend to avoid things like that.
Well, yes, certainly the creator of the relic had somewhat of a creative license when it came to illustrating how they perceived each plane to look. It's not necessarily a literal representation. You must understand it could take a far more humble form when you finally encounter the card. It's not always exactly what it seems. However, I don't know how much you know about the elemental plane of water to which this card corresponds, but the Deep is a fairly accurate moniker for sure, certain.
Well, the ocean, I know a fair bit about.
Well, that's good.
But, we tend to stay above the water, on top of it.
Hold on just a second.
Going under the water is a bad thing. Most of us can't breathe that way.
He holds up a hand for a second and then shuffles out of the room, and you can kind of hear certain rummaging and clattering around in the actual shop storefront, maybe behind the counter. And a few minutes later, Markello returns, and he's holding a rolled up piece of parchment. Now, I can't promise what you'll find if you do search for this card. However, the Deep does suggest a certain proclivity towards underwater activities, so it might be useful if you take this with you. And understand I give this to you with no charge going forward, so take from that as you will. It's a scroll of water breathing, and he kind of holds it out to whoever wishes to take it. It will allow you to cast said the spell water breathing upon you, and I believe up to 9 other, if you do find anyone to assist you in this task.
Bobcat will
Pepper
take
find-
it because it's like at least half the size of Pepper.
Yeah, and Pepper's finding a reason to avoid this magic scroll. The last magic item she touched is now on her wrist and threatening to cut her hand off. So
It's true.
she's
What can you
found
do?
a reason to go refill her coffee cup.
Well, this might seem like a rather obvious question, but where do you intend to start looking?
In the water.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
would seem like a good suggestion. We are in the dock ward, after all. You wouldn't exactly have far to go.
No.
Yeah, the problem is I haven't really learned how to be a swimming creature yet. I don't know how this is
Can you
gonna work
not-
out.
Can you not swim yourself?
I can. I'm not
Well,
very
you'll be
good
fine
at it.
then. Don't worry about the thing. You'll be able to get underwater. That's what you need.
I mean, I could get us a boat. Can we get there by a boat? I mean,
I don't know. I don't know exactly the item is. You'll have to find out first. It might be on an island somewhere. It might be at the very depths of some trench. Goodness knows. You're going to have to find that out.
Can we do the island thing? Because I've been meaning to
Yeah.
get out to some of the outer islands and check out some of the bugs they've got out there and stuff.
yeah, I can get us
That would-
past
that
on
would be
ship.
super
That's not a
convenient.
problem.
Okay.
By all
Okay.
means, if you
And-
decide to go to an island, then that's absolutely fine.
Right. Pepper's
But
now
I
helping
suggest you
herself in the
hurry.
kitchen making breakfast. So she's got like a huge mound of eggs that she's scrambling up, and there's meat frying and bread that's getting toasted because she's making breakfast for the kids, because there's a well-stocked kitchen here, and these kids
There
are
is.
going to eat good today.
Yeah, he definitely sees
And so is
you.
Oscar.
He definitely sees you kind of basically tearing apart his kitchen for all these supplies. Kind of looks over and goes, "Yes, all right. Well, I'm going to go and open up the shop. I leave you both to your own imaginations." And he heads through the door back towards the main shop area.
Okay.
You want some
Well,
breakfast?
I will definitely grab a plate of breakfast from Pepper.
The kids are kind of tromping downstairs. She's passing out plates, and these kids are extremely well organized. You notice that they all know the routine. There's a routine. They've got it down. Oscar is going around and making sure that he gets his breakfast by getting a bite from each kid. The whole time she's just like, well, I mean, we could get a boat. I don't suppose the city guard are going to lead us to this one real quick. We could go down and see about getting a boat. Getting
get a
ship's
boat.
passage, maybe? Yeah, okay.
I like the boat idea.
All right. Come on, Oscar. Let's go.
Okay, so as you head out, Markello gives you kind of a small wave as you do so. Meanwhile, let's return to our other players as I try and find the right tab. Alright, so our Aarakocra and our half-elf bard, was it?
That's correct, yes.
Excellent.
Currently
Well,
working on the docks.
you are indeed both currently on the docks for various reasons. You've both heard this morning, since getting back to work, whatever specifically it is you wish to spend your time on, that at some time during the early hours of the morning, a ship returned to the harbour. Only it was completely empty. There were no crew, no sign of a struggle, no catch, no tools, no equipment. It was as if everyone on board had been spirited away completely. It is a little bit of a spectacle, although the city guard are keeping people somewhat away from it. They themselves have no idea what's going on, and at the moment the ship is moored a little way out into the harbour, but not too hard to access from the main docks.
Okay. Is there any way of getting maybe a little bit better vantage point so you can see down onto the boat to see a bit more what's going on?
Yeah, of course. The actual harbour itself and the dock district starts to slope upwards from the dock itself, and there are various lookout points and areas around the dockyard where you could probably get a better view if you skirted around. And indeed, it's as you're making your way around this perimeter that you find yourself, let's see, you find yourself bumping into an interesting character. Indeed, there is a small looking woman with a very large mastiff and a young man in fairly light, I believe, have you got leather armor, Bobcat? I think it was something along those lines. And you almost
I don't
walk
have
into
armor.
You don't have armor. Well, I guess fairly lightweight kind of clothing, fairly, I imagine, practical for the work you do at the zoo. And you have that awkward moment where you kind of go, oops, sorry, and then you both go the same way and you keep bumping into each other.
You want to get that dog out of the way?
What?
No.
Fine.
Excuse me,
I
we're
just-
very busy. We're going somewhere.
You were the ones who walked into us.
No, that didn't happen like that.
It did. It really
Listen,
did.
it
Anyone
doesn't
looking
matter.
for,
If I don't,
Go ahead.
if I don't get to a boat right now, my arm is gonna come off. Okay, I don't have time for this.
That is the most ridiculous story I have ever heard in my life.
Bobcat, as you're saying this, could you roll a D10,000? Wow, there's a lot of wild magic on this.
Oh no, how?
So you do /die space 1d 10,000s. So that without the thingies. Is anyone looking for a good time?
Well, these ones
No?
seem to be.
You know, not it's when we get back. It's been a while.
Alright.
When we get back.
Oscar
Yeah,
looks up at
sure.
Finbar
Are we-
and barks.
Are we going on a boat? Is that what's happening? I'm down.
Yeah, let's go.
I've been on many boats. I'm a seasoned sailor.
Inside check.
Something or other.
Go for it.
I'm gonna roll a deception check.
Do I
Let
get
me know when
advantage
you've got
being a
your-
sailor?
Not with this tricksy bard, I don't think. Also, let me know, Bobcat, when you've got your horrible number up to 10,000, if it works.
Was there a 4 involved? I forgot already.
No, it's the
What'd you say?
syntax is in the VMix if you just copy and paste, I think.
And that's it? That's all I have to put?
Yeah.
So,
1d 10,000. Okay. 5423.
5423. Okay, you guys, talk amongst yourself while I find out that thing.
Oh, good.
You
I
should
rolled an
apologize
18
for
on my
walking into
deception check.
Oof.
He's
17 on
very
this
he's
side.
very grumpy. Yeah, I'm a very good sailor. He's very grumpy. Sorry about that.
Yeah. So what ships have you been on?
Lots, big ones, small ones. I do them all. Medium
Yeah, I
ones
can vouch for
sometimes rowboats. Yeah, I do all of them. Sort of an all-round seaman kind of guy.
The
What
seaman
led
part,
me
I
into this
believe.
profession, actually. Yes.
I'm not going
Yes.
to comment on that in the slightest.
I'm actually an underwear salesman by trade and a bard, a famous bard, Finbar, the bard. That's my name.
Never heard of you.
I've fallen on some hard times. There was this seductress who ended up enslaving me for a time in a different dimension. Ended up back here. No money, no clothes. Found some clothes, haven't yet found any money. But I'm
Finbar,
working
the
on
only
it.
reason you lost your clothes was because of too much alcohol. It was nothing to do with the seductress. It was solely to do
I-
with the drink.
I may or may not have taken them off on my own accord.
You took them off.
Pepper,
on your
what's
It's
your
nebulous.
own. We saw. Everyone saw. That's why you were kicked
14.
out.
But that
Pepper,
story
as
is
this-
somehow better than my story. I don't get it, man.
As this conversation is happening, Pepper, you do notice that there seems to be quite a lot of city watch, the local guard, not kind of arranged super clustered around this particular boat in the harbour. That's kind of moored up close enough to the jetty that a gangplank has been put up there. But there's certainly a more notable presence around it than there usually is, and you know the docks pretty well.
Yeah. She's got the. As soon as she sees the city guard, she's like, "Oh shit!" She's got the hood up. You know, she's kind of a little closer to Oscar, and wonder what they're doing. Suppose we better go find out. Any of you two know what?
They're some of
what
my best
the-
customers.
Now, see that I believe. But she's gonna kind of. She and Oscar are gonna make their way through the crowd, trying to stay unnoticed and see what's going on with the city garden while they're clustered around the ship.
Oscar looks at you and then looks at Finbar and Knick-Knack, looks back at you and then does this kind of...
Oh, yeah, yes, they're coming with us.
gives this kind of happy bark, and Finbar, you kind of feel this kind of headbutt your backside as this very large dog kind of encourages you to follow its mistress.
Well, I guess I'm coming too. Come on, Knick-Knack.
Yeah, let's talk
Every
on the
time
way.
you follow
Oscar
the
gets
dog.
it. We need to get down there.
Ends in a bad.
Sure,
bad-
boats. I'm good at them. We've done them.
Dogs and boats, my worst enemies. Never mind.
He doesn't eat
Minus
chicken.
gravity.
I am not a chicken.
Okay.
I heard that.
Between you and me, I'm not sure.
Seagull?
Oscar just tilts his head.
Bobcat actually gets excited about this conversation and forgets about the other stuff for a while, and he goes off on a tangent about how this is actually the rare Aarakocra, and starts giving all kinds of information about the, and none of you care, but he's going to keep talking about that bird. You're going to learn everything there is to learn about Aarakocra.
Right, okay. Water.
I love
So-
learning.
Don't we all? As you start to approach the ship, you start to see like these very curled white letters painted on the side of the boat, and you realize it must have been a fairly profitable merchant ship of some kind, because it's fairly large. It looks like it's in very good condition, and the ship's name on the side reads "The Lively Lady."
Do I know this ship?
It's not of particular interest to you. It is mostly a fishing boat. It's one of the more successful ones. It belongs to kind of not a fleet, but like a small fleet of fishing boats owned by one rather wealthy merchant. They don't trade in any particularly valuable individual goods. It's mostly, as I say, fish and food, seafood kind of based.
That's not her kind of sailing. She's
Yes, you probably know of it, but you've never had a reason to get close to it or really engage with them in any sort of bartering.
That is a
Fishing
ship.
ship.
Yep, fishing ship. That's right, fishing ship. I was going to say that. It's for fishing primarily.
It smells
Yep.
very strongly of fish to all of you. It's very obvious.
Yep.
I'm just reveling in the smell.
I'm just your local guide
Good,
here.
man. As you kind of get a bit closer, one of the city watch approaches your little group. Can I help you?
Evening,
This
officer.
area is cordoned off for use of the city watch. There's been somewhat of an incident. I'm afraid we're going to have to go around. We can't allow sightseers and rumor mongers to start any sort of panic.
Panic.
yeah. We look
No,
like the
that'd be-
panic type
You've
that
got to be
way.
interested in
We're
panic.
not the panic crew. Look at us. Perfectly normal.
No, but you certainly look like rumor mongers. The kind
Well,
to
that
incite
much.
others to panic.
I
Yes.
will hold my hands up too. But also, what is a cordon? You're going to have to explain that one. You said it was cordoned off. What's,
Pepper,
what does
like,
that mean?
yeah.
That means
I don't-
we can go in.
I don't
Pepper,
understand a
well,
lot of
oh.
these words, but my name's Bobcat Johnson, and we actually may be
This
able
guy
to
knows
help
what's up.
you. Yeah.
Pepper's going to stealth onto the ship while they're keeping the city watch busy.
Okay, roll.
I'm going to follow
roll
Pepper by
stealth check
flying
with-
through. I'm just going to fly up a little bit, just go over the cordon, because cordons can't stop there.
22.
Okay, yeah, that's enough. You didn't even need the advantage, really, did you? You slip by as the others are having this conversation. and no one really seems to notice. Do you instruct Oscar to come with you or to stay?
Oscar stays. Oscar is going to. He's part of the deception. We've played this game to split our forces.
Yeah. So Oscar kind of stays behind and takes a place next to Bobcat, kind of trusting him the most out of who remains. The guard looks up at Knick-Knack, a little bit bewildered. Excuse me, so you can't do that. This a cordon doesn't just mean those confined to the ground can't. Oh, and kind of starts to chase after you, and you notice a lot of other guards are now looking towards you, and a few are starting to. With a level of confusion, there are some crossbows that they're taking off of their backs in concern as to what you're doing.
Fine, and I'm just going to slowly flap down to the ground.
Majestically sing.
Land in the perfect pose.
Thank you.
My
Now,
good man, I
if
don't
you'll
think you
kindly-
understand who I am. My name is Finbar the Bard. I am something of a big deal, and I have friends in high places. The other night, the captain of the watch, she was by here, and I noticed that many of you spend your evenings down here, and, well, I wouldn't want word to get out. Rumors. I would hate for rumors to be mongered.
Well, now there's certainly no need for that.
Right,
roll,
I agree.
Roll
That's-
persuasion for me.
I shall attempt that. Luckily for me.
If anyone is helping in any way or going to corroborate this story,
Yeah,
I rolled a
I will.
14.
okay. Roll again because I think Bobcat's helping. Just kind of probably just
Sure.
being his yes man at this point, going,
Yeah.
I've seen you down here.
That's
Exactly.
14.
Okay, 14. That's good enough. You kind of see this mid-ranking guard. You get the impression that whatever captain might have been assigned to this post has probably gone to report what's going on. They kind of give you a side eye and this long, drawn-out sigh of frustration. I suppose, but please be quick. We can't just let anyone
I always
wander
am.
about on... that seemed a bit
I
of a
am
self-burn, but go ahead. And
Renowned for my speed.
He's renowned for the self-burns as well.
Oh, and the... Oh, I see what you mean, yes. No,
Yes.
Yeah, try not to boast
It
about
was an
that.
attempt at
I'll
humor.
talk
Please,
about it.
never mind. Just go. And they let you through. Pepper, you
right.
are the first one on the boat, however, so let me just let you know what you see. So, again, as I said before, this boat's in pretty good condition. The timber kind of creaks as you step onto it, and again, it's clear it's a fairly profitable company that operates the ship. With your passive perception, one thing you will notice, and anyone with a passive perception of 14 or higher will also see this, you notice that unlike many of the other ships in the docks, which have by now dried out from the rainstorm the day before, the wooden planks and beams of this ship are still completely slick with water. There is no sign of any crew or any sort of struggle. You also notice that there are no obvious nets or lines, no crates of fish, not even any obvious tools or weapons that you can see. Again, it's a decent-sized vessel. You can kind of see what looks like a door set into the back section of the ship, which probably leads down into a hold and any kind of quarters or stateroom that there might be.
Are the sails and the rigging intact?
Yeah, they seem to be perfectly intact.
She's gonna go ahead and head down.
Okay, so you make your way downstairs just as the rest of your party is now stepping out onto the deck of the boat. Would you have been concealing your movements heading down to the bottom of the
Oh, yeah.
ship? Okay.
Yeah, she's staying stealthed.
Okay,
We've
so
lost the gnome.
yeah, the rest of you don't see an obvious sign of her as you step aboard the vessel.
Well,
I'm gonna start
perhaps
stealing
it's
shit.
Alright, roll an investigation check.
Cloves, that might be better than mine.
You do look like you've been
Food.
dragged through a head.
Yeah, 16.
So with a 16, it seems as if the deck has been stripped of anything that you could, certainly anything you could carry off. There's not even any spare sailcloth or rope that you can find, to be honest. It's pretty barren. But again, you will see...
This is a terrible boat.
It's a pretty awful boat. But again, you can see that there is a... there are doors that lead down into the hull of the actual ship.
I guess downstairs. Maybe there's some stuff we can steal. That's what we're doing here, right?
I mean,
Yeah,
naturally-
absolutely.
Right, good. Same page.
So as you move to head towards the door, Pepper, you have already passed through it and you have descended into the lower section of this boat. The first thing you notice is there is not quite a whole foot, but nearly a foot of water just in the base of this ship, which seems pretty still, but obviously it sloshes around as soon as your boots make contact with it.
Great. Bilge pump isn't working. That's generally not a good thing. Does the water smell stagnant, or does it smell more like a fresh seawater?
Seems to smell fresh to you. You've been around the dock water a long time. You know what bad stagnant dock water smells like, and this is clean. It's fresh, and in fact, you realize if you've looked around the ship itself seems to be almost pristine and very devoid of algae or barnacles, as far as you've been able to see.
She's going to give a soft whistle to signal Oscar to come join her.
Okay, so the rest of you who are just heading down the steps to this door, Oscar immediately, his ears just prick up and he barges past whoever's in front to scratch at the door.
I think we should follow him.
Yeah.
Okay. I will
Sounds like
open the
there's someone
door.
in trouble down here.
As soon as you open the door, Oscar barges through, and there's this great big kind of slosh as he all but leaps clean into the 1 foot of water, the floor of the boat, and these ripples have spread out from where he hits the water. And Pepper, you are very aware that your mastiff has arrived.
Yeah, she was expecting that. She's kind of standing back and away, knowing that this is going to happen. And then as soon as the ripples stop, she's up on his back.
He seems much more comfortable to be back reunited with you as the rest of the party joins you. What do you all do?
So we're stealing the boat.
Yes, we're stealing the boat. I'm lighting a bullseye lantern out of my pack and continuing my exploration.
Okay.
Yeah, Bobcat is
Follow you.
definitely going to be looking around for like a hole somewhere to explain why all this water is down here.
So everyone who's doing an explorer, could you please roll investigation checks for me?
And again, trying to steal shit. Need some clothes. If anyone finds a nice shirt, let me know. This one has all of its buttons gone, and I don't want to explain how they got off.
Don't really want to know.
Okay.
We don't.
Well,
Is this
then.
going to end
Okay,
up with your
so-
clothes off again, Finbar? Because if it ends up with your clothes off again,
Unrelated.
I swear to whatever there is. I'm sick of
All
seeing
right,
it.
so
If it happens, it happens.
you
It
are the
should.
first one to spot something. You are exploring the hull of the ship. The first thing you do notice is this is a fairly open storage area that you're in right now. Again, it seems very empty, like stripped bare apart from the water. However, there are a very short portion of steps that lead up about a couple of feet, and those break the waterline, and you can see two kind of narrow doors, the kind you get on ships, leading to two other spaces that are closed off but still in this underneath portion of the ship. As you're noticing that, you see something dark floating in the now slightly choppy water as the ripples from Oscar's cannonball start to settle down, and you can see what looks like a leather-bound book floating near the surface. As for Bobcat, you are looking around for any kind of hole or puncture in the hull of the ship. You don't find anything anything obvious. Like, there doesn't seem to be any reasonable explanation for how this water got into the base of this boat. However, as you're kind of rummaging around, like perhaps trying to feel the planks of the hull of the ship, your hands brush something slightly sharp. Thankfully, you didn't touch it kind of hard enough for it to cut you. But you see kind of like a dusky pinkish red color just where your hand has brushed up against. And something moves slightly as you kind of put force against it. Other pair of you, unfortunately, you do not spot anything with those investigation checks.
Can I try to pick it up, whatever it was?
Of course. You lift it out of the water and kind of, you can just about see in the light from the lantern that Pepper has lit. It looks to be a carved coral talisman of some kind. It's very beautifully made, and it looks like some sort of many-tentacled beast with all these almost jagged protrusions from these tentacles. It's very beautiful, but very almost alien to you. You've never seen kind of a trinket like this of any craftsman or craftswoman in Waterdeep.
So I have a book.
This is
I have a book on my person that is full of a bunch of creatures that I've never seen or heard of before. Can I open that up and see if I recognize this creature in the book?
You can make a history check whilst we go over to Pepper for a moment.
She's going to pick up the book and kind of examine it, see what it is. It has a title.
The water kind of pours off of the leather as you pick it up, and you realize it's been designed in such a way that the leather binding, if you kind of wrap it up, can encapsulate the entire book to keep it dry if it's waterlogged. And you see that on the front there is a written in common. It says ship's log.
Yeah, kind of was expecting that. So she's going to take the lantern and open it up fully, because she was doing just the beam off of the bullseye. So she's going to light it up fully. Oscar, open. And he opens his mouth. She can take the little handle off the lantern and hang it in his lower jaw, and he'll hold onto the lantern for her.
Beautifully, he does so.
She unwraps the logbook and starts looking through it, looking for answers.
The other pair of you, you kind of see the two that you just met seem to have found their own respective items of interest. What would you like to do?
Finbar,
What you got there?
I don't think we're looking to steal the ship.
They're like reading books and shit. Shit.
This isn't thievery. This is boring.
They're kind of weird. Not judging. I mean, I'm here semi-naked, and I've recently become a prostitute, but they're kind of strange. You know?
Yeah. I think this is slightly strange even for our sakes.
Tastes. Yeah. Okay, let's plan. If things go badly, we'll run away, steal a ship for ourselves.
But you can't sail a ship.
I could try. I probably could. How hard could it be? It's just a ship for fish.
I do not trust you.
I can do it. I believe in myself. And I know you do too.
At least someone believes in you. Good. Well done.
All right. What have you got there, friends? Books with some tentacles on it? That's interesting.
I see something
This is
shiny.
the ship's log.
Ships have logs.
Yes, as
They
a
use
sailor,
it
you
to
would know.
log things.
Yes, like what happened to the crew and the captain, and who was the captain? And where have they gone? Where have they been?
Right, all of those things and more. But why do we care?
I don't know. Why don't you go topside and check out the starboard rigging?
Sol already checked it. It's all good. It's all good. The star rigging. It's all. It's rigged. Ready to go.
Excellent.
So
Excellent.
Bobcat, with that roll, you aren't able to identify it. clearly from your book, sadly. However, Pepper, you will find that you do notice that in the book there is a most recent page that has been written upon, if you do wish to read it.
Oh yes, definitely.
So thankfully it's written in the common tongue, so you can understand it. It seems that the common tongue is a standard for sailors who often will employ a myriad of peoples, so they want to make sure everyone can understand and work together. And it reads, "The wind seems to have calmed, though we are but one more night from making port at Waterdeep. The stillness is strange, especially after the rainstorm of earlier today. I am going down to the hold to investigate some anomaly the crew noticed. They described a knocking sound on the hull, seemingly from the outside." And then there's a break before the writing starts again. And at this point, the ink is starting to smear, and it looks as if the book was already starting to get wet as this was going on, or perhaps slightly afterwards. "We still haven't moved. The crew have identified a leak in the hull, but they cannot find a source. The water is rising. There are no ships within range to contact for aid. The water is rising." And at that point, it trails off.
That was interesting.
Yeah.
Whilst this is going on, is the water around our feet rising as well, or is it settled?
It's unusual
Okay.
for the ship to be becalmed that close to Waterdeep. You said there were 2 doors close by?
Yes, there are 2 doors. There's one door in front of you, and well, actually, there's 2. There's a left one and a right one, both at one end of the hull.
I think she's gonna wrap up the log carefully and head towards the left door.
Okay, so if you test the door, it seems to open fairly easily, and inside you can see what looks to be it must be a room for the captain, perhaps, because it's the only one to have kind of its own private quarters. It's still just a large hammock that's been strung up, but it is like a private sleeping quarters of some sort. And if you're going to have a look around, I would have you roll an investigation.
Investigation, you said?
Got a
Okay.
12 to help Pepper have a look around. I'm mostly looking
7.
for clothes.
So Pepper, you don't. It seems again it's been pretty much stripped of anything that could have been valuable. However, Finbar, you are having a poke around, and maybe you've come across people who have hidden things in a similar way. But you run your hands down the fabric of the hammock, and you find what appears to be almost a lump in the way the fabric has been sewn.
Got a lump here.
I imagine you're pretty good at finding lumps.
You have to check. I mean, it's mandatory. I'll open up the lump and see what's inside.
Okay, so you either pick apart the stitching or just cut it open with a knife or
With
other
my
similar.
teeth. Yeah. No, yeah.
With your...
I'll have a knife on me.
All the hygiene.
Gnaw on the lump.
All the
You're
goddamn.
not at work right now, Finbar. You can lose the teeth.
I'm very good at this.
And it seems you are, because the material comes apart fairly easily, and inside you find 120 gold pieces. Also, you find what seems to be a small carved talisman of. Roll a quick religion check for me.
Shit, I'm terrible at that. But I pocket the gold. It's actually, I'm really good. I'm
not
lying.
too bad.
17. I'm very faithful.
Firstly, roll a sleight of hand just to check, see if anyone else notices you pocketing the gold.
That's what I'm
But
good
you
at.
do recognise that the carved talisman is Wow, unless anyone's passive perception is better than 18, you don't see the gold. The talisman is of the goddess Saloon, and it seemed to be made out of moonstone, and you're not exactly sure how much it would be worth, but you'd have to guess it would be at least 50 gold pieces. And then there is a small string of these little tiny turquoise beads, and you reckon that would probably be at least worth 20 or so.
Well, I hand, seeing as I can't really hide the talisman and the other things, I'll sort of show that to the group. Looks like we've gotten a fairly good haul here. Some kind of talisman saloon. Never believed in it myself, but I do believe in money, and it's worth something.
Everyone loves money. The god of money is the most important.
If I
That's
take
why
a
we're
look at this talisman, does it look similar in style to the one with the creature on it, or are they two completely separate things?
No, this one is very different. In fact, this
Okay.
is the style of the carving is almost recognizable as there's almost like a usual motif that you would see, like, oh, it's one of those saloon talismans. I've seen that
okay.
design before in Waterdeep.
Okay.
And the same with the turquoise beads seem just to be a standard craft. Have been in a usual way, really. There's nothing particularly exotic about them or strange.
Okay.
With my background as a sailor, would I think that these were unusual, or would I have any extra knowledge or insight into what these would be doing here and why they would be left behind?
Yeah, so Pepper, you would know that obviously Saloon is associated with the moon, and particularly it's a deity that a lot of elves follow. And with the moon comes the tides, and as a result, they're often attributed to the tides in the ocean. So you would know that quite a few sailors, maybe the more pious, would carry with them a talisman or some kind of idol to Saloon to bring good fortune on the waves to themselves. In fact, you've probably seen captains or sailors with a little bit more money on hand that would possess this sort of little trinket. So it doesn't seem out of the ordinary to you. In terms of why they're here, all you can imagine is the fact that they'd clearly been sewn into the actual hammock that whoever these belonged to had suggested they were keeping this private stash secret unto themselves, their own little hidden treasure, and whatever it is that has swept through this ship clearly didn't pick it up or notice it.
Who would hide turquoise beads?
I hide a lot of beads. You can't just
No.
have those things lying around. Usually you've got to have a stash. So presumably
I'm not going to do
that's
it.
why.
Nope, I just
No.
Yeah.
Nope.
Rewind on that one in the head and then go for it.
yeah. We're just going to let that one go right off.
I mean, you asked. I can't help but feel that we're not stealing the ship yet, and that seemed
No.
like my primary reason to be here. You two seem to be on some kind of investigative mission. Are you private eyes? Because if you are, you legally have to tell me.
No, we're not. Listen, okay, I was
Please
very
don't.
serious earlier when I said this
Okay.
about this bracelet, okay? And I point at it and I say, this thing is slowly but surely closing in around my arm, and it is eventually going to cut my hand off. And the only way to stop it is to find a crap ton of cards that are in planes all over the place. And apparently the next one is in the water. So we need to get a boat to go to a place that we don't know, but it's somewhere in the water. And then we're going to go to another plane and then find a card and put it back in a deck. And then that'll tell us where the next one is.
Yeah,
I
pretty much.
How do you
heard
understand?
stealing a boat, and I'm on board.
All right. So let's maybe take a quick look in the other room, and then we'll see about taking this baby out onto the sea.
Before we do that, can I try and
Oh.
help Finbar fashion some clothing out of the hammock that's been left over?
Oh, please.
Yeah,
Yes.
you have
Thank
a
you.
sopping wet, dripping hammock.
Say it again.
That
Yeah, that'll do.
Yeah.
It's an improvement. It's an improvement.
basically makes the dress
It's-
that
it's wet
Ariel
and
wears
dripping,
when
that'll
she
do.
first goes up to
It's
the human
clean.
world.
It's better than what it was before. I'm
Positively
not impressed.
sopping. I'll take it.
That fishnet
Moist.
look will probably
Very
work for him
moist.
down here.
It's true.
Yeah.
Pepper, could you quickly just roll a straight intelligence check for me? Okay, you notice in the ship's log on the latest page that you'd read, there is almost like a smudge, some letters, numbers maybe, that you can't quite work out just before the writing starts. At the moment, maybe it's because it's dark in here, maybe it's the constant kind of dropping from the ceiling getting on your nerves, but you can't quite make it out from here.
All right. You know what? I tell you what. Why don't you guys finish up down here, and I'll go up and we'll cast off and get underway.
All right,
Yeah, okay.
kind of made this toga fishnet deal.
It's
Little
very
number.
you. Yes,
Thank
it's very you.
I've
Should,
seen you
increase
in a
your-
lot worse. I've seen you out of a lot worse as well. Yeah.
True and
You should be making a
true.
lot more money that way.
He doesn't make much.
That's obvious. Yeah, so
I
Oscar
have my
and
moments.
There's not
Oscar
many
and
of them.
Pepper are going to head up, back up topside, and she's
So
going to get the
you
ship
head
away.
You start to head up the stairs and kind of pull yourself out of the kind of the foot deep water. Or was it a foot deep? It seems almost to be deeper now than it was when you entered in. And as that thought crosses your mind, there is a slam as the kind of the long door that allows you to head down into the hull of the ship slams shut above you. And I would like everyone to roll initiative.
That was unexpected.
It's the city guard!
They're
I, knew
after
they,
you.
I knew they were after me.
Yeah, it's purely Finbar that's going to get you all killed. Oh, interesting.
Oh,
I am
that's a
wanted
given.
for multiple felonies in multiple planes.
Okay, we're going to
Easy to
do
list
this
the ones on.
the critical roll way because I
Ooh,
find that's the quickest way to do it. So, 25 to 20. Finbar, at least.
22.
22.
Oh.
I got
Which of
22.
you has the highest dex?
I have a 2
I have
for
plus
that.
3.
Okay,
Yeah,
Finbar's
so
going
Finbar.
first then.
That's not a good thing.
Next up looks like... Oh, me! Then we have Knick-Knack and finally Bobcat. Sorry, Bobcat.
It's so bad.
So, as this door slams shut, you can feel, the rest of you who are currently not starting to mount stairs, you feel the water start to rise very slowly around your ankles. And as you notice this, there is the swish and a creak as the door to the second room opens. And what looks almost like a wave or like a hump or a swell in the water rushes out. Finbar, what do you do?
Shit. I
should've
draw
checked the
my
other door.
rapier and I strike out at the water. I attack the water.
Okay,
gusto.
roll
And Viv.
roll to hit for me.
No one shall take down the almighty Finbar, the bard! I scream, and I roll a 22 to hit. Fuck.
Ooh, that's gorgeous. Okay, roll some damage for me.
I really set myself up to fail there, but let's see. I rolled 7 points of piercing damage.
All right, so you strike through the water with your rapier, and whilst you definitely something feels like there's more resistance than if you just hit a wave of water. However, you still pass through it to some degree, and you feel like maybe you didn't do quite as much damage as it felt like you should.
Oh. It's the water's attacking us, I say. It's not good.
All right, Pep, it's your turn.
Given that she's, I'm imagine she's a fair distance away from this thing at the moment.
Yes, you can
So is
hear the exclamation from Finbar, but other than that, you would probably need to take your whole movement to get there, especially given the water. For you, especially, is probably more than halfway up your body.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not too bad for Oscar, but he'd still have to push through it.
Yep. So she's gonna be like 2 or 3 steps up the ladder towards the door that just shut. And Oscar's got his front paws up and he's holding the lantern so that it's well lit. And she's pulling out her short bow and firing.
Okay, roll to hit for me.
Nope, that's a 6.
Sadly, just as you let the arrow fly, this kind of hump in the water just disappears down, and none of you see anything. And just as you're kind of making that conscious thought in your head, I think this deserves an advantage. Just saying. Okay.
I don't.
I assume a 19 would hit Finbar.
You're making a lot of assumptions here, Rachel. But you're correct.
Lovely. Okay,
What's the
you
assumption
are
people make about
slammed by this just wall of force as something comes around from behind you, rises out of the water, and the others, you see again this almost arm of pure water just sucker punch Finbar in the back, and you take 16 damage.
Good God, my entire body.
And not only that, the water starts to envelop around you, and you are pulled inside this raised up kind of hump of water, and it completely covers you, and you realize that you can't breathe right now.
Shit. Okay.
Next up was Knick-Knack.
How far away is Finbar from me at the moment?
Not very far. You would be able to move and attack.
Can I try and grab hold of him and pull him out of this watery bubble thing?
You can make a strength check for me, and I will do the same.
Fail miserably. Oh, it's a no, it's a 7, so it's 9. Excuse me.
Alas.
Yeah, I read
So
that wrong.
you managed to put your arms through into this kind of orb of water, and you grab Finbar's arm, but the water kind of almost resists against you and tries to pull back, and you aren't able to dislodge him from his current predicament quite yet. But Bobcat, it is now your turn.
Bad way. Bobcat, you there?
Yeah, sorry. It's a little bit in and out for me right now. Seems to happen every time we get into combat. But anyways, so what I heard was that he's still in the bubble of water, right?
Yeah, that's
Yep.
correct.
Okay, I am going to cast Create or Destroy Water. So Destroy Water in the bubble around him, which would be 10 gallons of water.
Okay, so I think this would do some tasty damage actually. Can I have you roll to hit as if it were a spell attack, just out of interest?
Yes, I guess.
Fine. Because this is interesting.
Ha! 24.
Okay, that's nice. Okay, in that case, I'm gonna get you to roll. Roll 3d6 as the water around that's currently enveloping Finbar instantly kind of evaporates, and you hear this piercing, whistling, shrieking sound. It's a bit like the sound of a kettle that's ready to boil, and the rest of the water that was kind of attached to the bit that you destroyed kind of almost seems to flinch away from Finbar and where the spell was centered, before it then starts gathering around you and swirling around you again. Finbar, you have been released, so you can take a big gulp of air, and it is now your turn.
Oh, everything hurts. I'm gonna hit it and hope that the pain stops because I'm on 2 HP. So, oh fuck! I rolled a 7.
No, no.
Help!
Yeah, maybe it's
I'm
what you
dying.
just went through, but you flail at the water, and it seems to dodge out of the way of your rapier attacks. Do you have any bonus actions or anything else you would like to do?
I could inspire someone, but I'm just not there yet. So
Is it not wet enough in
that's the
here
end
for
of my
you?
turn. No, it's not quite enough. We're getting there.
Knick-knack, it's all yours.
So can I still see this kind of almost?
You can see where the water is behaving erratically.
Okay. Can I cast Hunter's Mark as a bonus action? And
You may.
Can I attempt to shoot it with? Can I attempt to take my sickle to it, please?
You can indeed. Roll your attack for me.
Fail.
Oh,
That's 18.
okay. Roll damage, and I believe Hunter's Mark gives you a little bit extra.
Yes, D4 plus D6. Okay, so
Oof.
4 on the normal damage. And
Wow.
I got 5, so that's 9 points of that is slashing damage.
Okay, so once again, you slash the sickle through the water, and you feel bits of it peel off, and the splash kind of soaks all of you even more than you already are. But again, you can see the water kind of reforming, and you feel that maybe it didn't do as much damage as you hoped it would. Bobcat, it is now your turn.
Did
it's
Pepper
not.
go?
It's Pepper's turn. Sorry, I goofed.
No worries. All right, so she's seeing this that the pointy weapons aren't doing much damage. So she's going to go ahead and wade through the water, and she's got a belaying pin that she's picked up in her travels. And when she gets there, she's going to hit it with the club.
Okay.
I didn't enter that as well. So it's going to be that's plus. Yep. Okay. Straight D20 roll. Nope.
Ooh, unfortunate.
Oh, I have allies within.
You
5
do,
feet.
so you get advantage.
Yep. 16. Or I'm sorry, 11.
16.
I can't add.
11
Yes.
is 11.
No math today.
Cool. That's okay. 11 doesn't seem to be quite enough to hit this thing. Again, the water is almost just leaping out of the way of your strikes whilst trying to get back at all of you, and indeed it seems to focus on the one that's hurt it the most so far. So oh, but a natural one isn't going to do it. Indeed, Bobcat, the water surges at you, but either you dodge at the last second, or it doesn't manage to get a hold on you. Something about you maybe just seems to repel it somewhat, because the splash spooks you, but it seems harmless at the moment.
That seems like a personal attack.
And because I mucked the order up slightly, Bobcat, it is now your turn.
Yeah, so I saw poor Finbar take a deep breath and then flail around a little bit, but he is looking real bad. So I'm gonna splish splash over to him and touch him on the shoulder and cast Cure Wounds at 2nd level.
Okay, roll your curing
God.
of the wounds.
It's that plus
Ooh.
5. That plus 5,
Wow.
sorry. 13 plus 5.
18 points are reafforded to you, Finbar.
Holy mackerel!
Feels good.
You're welcome. Now do something worthwhile.
And it's now your turn.
No promises. Oh shit. Right. Yes. Doing things, and I slap at the creature like a wet fish with a
That's gonna
16.
hit. Roll your damage.
And I rolled 10 points of damage.
Pretty good. I mean, again, there is this feeling of you are passing through the water, but every hit you make, you are hearing this slight kind of hissing steam sound, this anguish kind of screech, and you feel like, yeah, that did something. You feel vindicated.
Excellent.
And Pepper, it is now your turn. I messed it up a bit last time, so just go with it.
Oh, Peppy, you're muted, but I see you rolling.
Sorry, 13.
13. That just about hits.
All right,
You
so
hitting with
roll
pin?
damage?
Yes,
Yeah.
please do.
All right, so D4. 4 points of bludgeoning.
4. You smash down with this, was you say a belaying pin?
Yes, acting as a club.
Awesome. And there is this almighty splash as the water is just thrown over all of you. You were just getting progressively more and more soaked, just getting right through your clothes, anything you were carrying.
And sneak attack damage. I just
Oh,
remembered.
sneak attack damage. Yeah, roll that for me.
Rogue's got a rogue.
Rogue's got a rogue.
Mm-hmm.
I love sneak attack damage.
So another 7.
Okay, you feel like there is another kind of hiss of pain, of a kind of anguish that's released, and you feel like you've definitely made contact again. Again, it's just not quite as strong as you feel like it should have been, but you're wearing it down. That's a total of... Whew. Yeah, you're wearing it down good.
Bonus
Next
action
up.
to disengage, she's going to back off a little bit.
Good plan, good plan. The... whatever it is in the water recoils for a second, and then you see almost like the front of a wave in a storm as it arcs around and surges back. And the closest one to it right now is still Finbar, unfortunately, because you keep leaping into melee combat. And so,
Upon instruction.
however, I do not believe an 8 hits you.
Does not.
Then the water just seems to rush past your ankles, and you manage to avoid being smothered in it. Once again, Knick-Knack, it's up to you.
Yeah, I have got nothing else but slashing and piercing stuff, so I'm just going to have to go again with the sickle and try and swipey.
Roll to attack for me.
There we get it.
Ooh,
That is not
nice.
natural 20.
Dirty 20, roll me some damage.
Roll again. So that is a 1, and then put that mark. That is 6 slashing damage.
Okay, 6, not bad. Again, there is another one of these hisses, and you slice through the water. And once again, you've made contact, but again, it's like whittling down something slowly. Every time you slash it, the water that surges back to attack seems a little bit less in volume. Bobcat.
Yeah, so I am excited about seeing that volume depleting, and I am going to cast Destroy Water at 2nd level, which is going to be 20 gallons. Get out of here, water.
All right.
I yell.
Roll a ranged spell attack for me,
Nailed it.
just to make sure you hit the right part. But that's going to be a wide one, so it's going to be fairly easy. Ooh. Okay, I'm going to say you can do half damage because you're still destroying a large portion of this water, so you're going to hit some of it. So roll 3d6 for me because you did do it at 2nd level, so. 7. There's
7 whole points.
This sudden evaporation of a lot of the water around your ankles, and even as it rushes back in to fill the space, although the water level is progressively dropping more and more, there is still this angry hissing that just seems to be surrounding you, even though the water level is lower and lower the longer you keep going with this. And we are back up to Finbar's turn.
How injured is this thing looking?
The water level is certainly pretty low now. It's probably it was rising and starting to get towards kind of thigh level for a normal person and probably neck level for Pepper. However, it is now about 6 inches at best, and it's just rising up into pillars that try and sneak around and strike you.
6 inches at best is my latest novella, as it so happens, but I'll attack it, even though I will put myself at risk. I will attack it, and let's see. There's a +4 on this, so 8. Chip.
Alas, the water, if anything, is more dexterous now and just leaps out of the way of your
6
blade.
inches wasn't enough.
It never is.
There it is. There it is.
Yeah, it's your turn.
Well, shit.
Unless
yeah,
there
it's
is
my turn.
a bonus action Finbar would like to do.
Okay, I'll give Bob Cat my bardic inspiration. Save my
Thank
life again,
you.
I'd say.
I'll do my
All
best
right.
to do better than you.
Shouldn't be hard.
That's not difficult.
Rolling pretty
Pepper
bad.
for yours.
Yep. Wait. Okay, here we go. Oh, that is
Okay,
a dirty
on
20 to
that
hit.
20, definitely gonna hit. Roll me some damage.
All right.
Get that sneak attack.
Yep. So do you want me to roll 2d4 or do you want to double the d4?
I usually say roll twice as many dice.
Oh wait, so it's not a natural 20. It's a
Oh,
dirty 20.
it's not a
never
nat
mind.
20. Yeah, sorry, I thought you were going for
Yeah.
sneak attack. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, that was
Oh my god.
Wow.
3 points of bludgeoning.
Wow.
3 points
Yeah,
of bludgeoning, half and rounded up to 2. As
Yeah.
you get a bit of a smackdown, but maybe it's because the water is so thin. Obviously, the relative volume that you're able to hit is quite small.
Yeah.
And perhaps
I think she's going to take pull her dagger and do a bonus action, do an offhand attack with her dagger.
do it.
All right. And this is just straight up no proficiency bonus, just dex, correct?
Yeah.
For offhand.
Oh,
There's the nat 20.
that's
There
the
you-
first nat 20 I think we've seen in this game. All right, amazing. Roll me your damage and then double it. That's how I tend to do it.
Okay, you got it. So 6 points of piercing.
That's enough. As you take your dagger, you almost do this beautiful spinning arc motion all around you, and there's this one last hissing shriek as there is this sudden. It's as if it's a splash outwards from where the four of you are standing, and the water just plasters the walls of the hull all around you before slowly it runs back down to settle once more, and then it's just still. And there is no more motion, and the water slowly returns to this still state. However, there's only about 1 inch of water now lying in the bottom of this boat.
I'm going topside.
Yeah, does that look familiar, Finbar? 1 inch?
What the hell just happened?
Bobcat, could you roll
Hey,
a
if you're lucky,
nature
you'll
check
find
for me?
out.
With advantage.
Nature check, you said?
Yeah, with advantage because of your background.
Okay. Well, that didn't go in the box, even though I dropped it in the box. 14.
14. Okay, that's enough. With your kind of tome of species that you carry with you,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, you got that. And again, I'm going to say that because it's a nice leather backed book, it's managed to escape getting particularly damaged in this particular encounter. You kind of remember skimming through pages. Maybe if you've read it idly in the past, I imagine you were probably the sort of kid to just kind of read up on all the crazy beasties you could.
I know
and
every
you
animal.
remember- You do. And you know that whilst it's not an animal, you've heard of entities before known as water weirds, which almost possess bodies of water, and they're a bit like elementals. There's certainly nothing you've had at your zoo before, but you have read about them, and that usually they occur in the chaotic parts of the world, certainly not so close to human habitation.
Okay, I'm going to relay this information to everyone. Just say, hey, I know a little bit about this thing. I've read about it in the past. I think we're okay now. We seem to have killed the thing that possessed the water, but I don't know what it's doing here. There's no reason for it to be anywhere near Waterdeep.
You know that if enough of the water it possesses is destroyed, the weird is kind of dispelled. So as far as you're aware, it's gone now.
Water is water. How do you possess water?
The world is a crazy place. I have no idea.
Right.
We
I'm
agree
gonna go
on
back
that.
to normal on top of the ship on the second ship.
Maybe this
I
is
want
the
to.
crew.
Now that the water is mostly gone, can I do another round to see if I find a hole anywhere? Any sort of leakage?
Yeah, you do. You could do another round. Roll a quick investigation check for me.
Okay. Oh, nope. I found nothing. It's fine. Everything is... Don't worry. There's no holes. The water will not come back. It's totally fine.
I wasn't
And
worried
indeed,
until
you
you
don't
said
seem to
that.
find any.
14 for Pepper. She's looking around on her way up.
Okay, so on your way up, you don't notice anything particularly out of the ordinary. Again, the little markings in like the margin of the logbook kind of irk you, and then you realize, since this is an intelligence check, you realize that they're in the position where you usually find coordinates for the location of the ship at the point the log was written in the book.
That'll make this easy. So when she gets up topside, she's going to pull her navigator's tools out of her pack, and they're going to set sail.
How are you intending to set sail, the four of you? Subtly?
Um,
I know all about boats. It'll be fine.
I'd
I
rather
think
go
she's
up
just gonna-
top
she's
and
just gonna cast-
fly alongside the boat.
I think she's just going to cast off. She's just going to cast off the lines like this is normal business and head out.
Okay. Roll sleight of hand for me, just to see a combination of making this look like just another chore on a boat, along with doing it fairly subtly, flies by. Ooh, an 11.
Yeah.
So you're pretty much done with the process of unsecuring the boat from the dock when one of the guards kind of turns and for a moment just kind of watches, and at this point you are now totally free from being tied to the dock before his mind kind of clicks and remembers no one's meant to be aboard this boat, and certainly no one's meant to be taking it out of dock. And you hear, hold on, wait, what are you doing up there? Just come back here right this second.
Sails are furled. We're out.
We'll bring it back!
Commandeering this vessel.
All right. You do hear the click and clack of several crossbows being loaded. We're warning
Get
you.
down!
Get back here right now.
I'm below decks.
We
now.
won't be long!
Good luck.
Who's on deck at the moment?
I'm
No,
above
not
it.
for long.
I was below.
All right. Okay, so Knick-Knack and Pepper, can you please just roll me dex saving throws with advantage, since you are now a little way out.
18.
10.
Oh, crikey.
What's
10.
what is proficiency to a rogue? You know.
I
my
know,
roll.
right? What is it? All right, I'm just gonna do a little roll. Just a little roll. Nope, it doesn't matter. It whizzes past your ear, missing you by a hair's breadth. But thankfully, you are unscathed as the completely stripped clean and therefore very lightweight boat starts to sail out from the harbour.
Well, we've just
She's
stolen
a-
the boat.
We did it.
We've achieved our goals. I think.
Yeah,
To be
I'll come
honest,
on
why
deck
we,
when-
why we
First thing I've
decided to steal the
stolen.
boat in the first place.
Yeah, when there are no
I-
more crossbows being fired, I'll jump up deck and. This is great. This is great. This is exactly what I wanted.
Honestly,
It's a
Finbar, I'm
beautiful,
Good job.
really surprised at how well you're doing this. I'm really surprised.
I mean, no one's more surprised than I am, my friend. Well, where are we going now? Something about
I've got there are
Bobcat's
coordinates
arm.
in here. No,
Great.
they're coordinates. Oh,
Anywhere will do. Anywhere's better than here.
Did we ever check out that second room?
Wasn't that
You
where the
did-
water
No.
thing came from? So I
Yes.
think that's the reason why we didn't check it out, is because something attacked
Right.
us from inside.
It's good to
Can I
have
go
a note
inside now?
room. One that we just
A
go
note
in.
Well,
Yep.
it's Bobcat. He's gonna go in the room.
Okay, you go into the room and you see that this was definitely Galley's find at some point, but there is absolutely no evidence of any food supplies when you look through the room. In fact, similar to the other areas of the boat, it has been stripped clean of anything that's either edible or valuable, and
Okay.
you don't find anything particular of note.
Okay. And no holes there either.
Nope, not that you can see.
What a terrible place. All right. I am going to go back upstairs and I'm going to say, listen, guys, I have.
Oh no.
Oh no!
What
Where's-
does
Oh, yeah.
Bobcat have?
Oh no!
Hello?
no.
Attention!
Oh, you're back. You're back.
Attention, Bill!
I have-
I was like, yeah, that was perfect timing. So I have some bad news, but I also have some good news. There is not a single bit of food on this ship. There's no food. This is the worst place ever. But the good news is I can make us some good berries. And I just pop out my hand with a bunch of good berries like falling off and stuff. I'm very proud of that ability.
I would
Eat up.
rather take
Wow,
the fish. We are, don't forget, we are in an ocean. There's fish in the water. I'm going to go kind of fly down towards the water's edge
Stoop.
and kind of like chuck my talons in and pick out like a decent sized fish. See?
Roll
Fish.
a dexterity check for me, please, Knick-Knack.
Bobcat says, fish are friends, not food.
Pepper takes the good berry, but she can eat fish too.
18.
All right, Knick-Knack, yeah, you pull out a sizable sea bass by the looks of things, like silver, wriggling, and pretty good eating.
I'm going to flop it on the deck. It's like, you talk about no food? There's food. That
Well, I was
easy
just trying to help, okay? Jeez.
enough. Yeah, you didn't do a very good job.
Steal my
Knick-Knack,
thunder.
you kind of killed Bobcat's thing. That seemed like he was really proud of it.
I
And,
pull a
just
Snitter
proud.
bar out of the pack and toss it at Bobcat.
Pepper, could you
Seemed like
roll?
he
I'm
derived a
trying
lot of
to think-
self-worth from that.
I'm trying to think what's closest to navigation. Like, maybe... I feel like it should be intelligence-based. Maybe just an intelligence check for me.
Okay. With proficiency?
Yeah, you have a
She's-
background as a sailor, so I'll let you have proficiency for that one.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Nala.
Phew. That was just about good enough. Thankfully, these coordinates are not very far from the actual harbour itself, so it's not too difficult to find. In fact, it's just outside what could be considered the safety of the natural harbour walls that kind of arc around to enclose the enormous bay of Waterdeep. Just past these walls, you are technically out in open ocean, but you can still see the walls that surround Waterdeep, and indeed in the distance, the kind of glistening of the sunlight off of the whitewashed buildings that are prevalent in the dock ward. And it takes you nearly an hour to get this far because it's a very still afternoon. There isn't a huge amount of breeze, but it doesn't look like you're being followed. Indeed, maybe you even get the impression that perhaps the guards kind of looking for a opportunity to get rid of this weird anomaly, otherwise ruining a nice clean day with no weird incidents.
Excellent.
As far as you can tell, these coordinates, there doesn't seem to be anything here. It's just flat ocean waves. There's no land, no islands. You just seem to be in the middle of blue.
I am going to pull out the card, the seeker card again, and just see if it's changed at all.
So the secret card is still holding open the book. However, the one little change you notice is whilst the picture of the yawning mouth of like a whirlpool is still on the page, the face of the seeker has changed from a concerned frown to almost like a relieved smile.
The seeker seems to be less stressed now. I'm wondering if we're in the right spot. We just need to dive for it or something.
We'll drop anchor then.
I am
Dive for
not,
it.
I,
Not really into that.
I fly. I don't.
Yep.
I'm not.
More of a water avoiding kind of guy, especially after that thing started to eat me when I was in the water. And that was just 6 inches. I mean, imagine how destroyed I would be if there was anything more. There's only so much one man can take, and I don't know if I could take any more of that. So, shall we think about not diving, instead sailing off to an island? Maybe there's some alcohol there.
But
I would love to go to an island, but I also want to get this thing off my arm.
Arms are overrated. Just get some wings.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Finbar, the rumor on the docks is that you like it deep and wet, and it doesn't get much deeper or wetter than this.
We both know that's not the same thing. And I'm just not comfortable diving into water.
Kick him
for
overboard.
some. Oh!
Because I happen to know that Bobcat has that scroll.
If Finbar is not prepared for such a thing, then indeed
Yeah,
he
he's not ready for it.
tumbles over the rail of the boat and into the water. Thankfully for you, the waves aren't particularly high, nor are they particularly violent today. You can tread water and kind of float.
I look at
Fucking hell.
Bobcat and I go, might be time for that scroll. And then she tells Oscar, stay. And she ties up the wheel, and so that it can't spin, even though they're anchored. And then she dives right overboard.
Oscar lies down with his chin between his paws, looking very concerned.
I'm assuming that I can read the scroll and like tell it who I want to have
Yeah,
water
essentially
breathing.
you just need to touch the people you wish to affect with it.
Do
You
I
need
have to
touch them
read
all at
it?
once.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm gonna read it and jump in the water and then swim after people and tap them.
And
I tapped the bird before I jumped.
and as you do that, as all of you are tapped, you feel almost as if the air you breathe right now is richer. It's almost as if there's almost a flavor to it, and you feel suddenly more alert. Your eyes, you feel invigorated as soon as this tap affects you.
Ooh.
Ooh, that's kind of nice.
Pretty good hit, yeah.
A little tingly.
You're
You're gonna have to teach me that one. It's good.
We should all be able to breathe under the water now. So
Yeah, but do we want to? I'm going to shout.
we're
that
gonna
over the
have
edge.
to.
We
We're
can,
gonna have to.
should we?
Come on. Come on.
Fine.
Knick-knack, you're a penguin.
I'm not a penguin.
Yeah, penguin.
I'm going to stand
You
on the
watch
edge.
him fly underwater.
You're going to proper cannonball into it just to piss everyone off.
Oh, you're not going to do
You're
the
running,
comrade thing and just dive?
No, I'm just going to like careen in as fast as I can. Probably hurt myself on the way. Who cares? It's a lot of water.
Yeah. Peppers, she's already gone down. She started swimming down.
Okay, so
I will follow.
everyone who's diving down, Finbar, do you join them?
Sure. Why not? It's
A
kind of
little
tingly.
reluctantly, perhaps.
I'll explore it.
All right, I would like all of you to make perception checks for me.
Ah!
That's right, get the bad rolls out the way now.
Yep. That's an 8.
15 for me.
Pretty
I also have an 8.
And I got a 8 as well.
Okay, it's a lot of 8s.
Oh.
So the only one to pick up anything other than ever so slightly translucent blue water is Knick-Knack. And Knick-Knack, ahead of you, you can just about make up a harsh outline, something that looks square, maybe, in shape. And as you get a little closer, what looks to be sunken stone, maybe a ruin of some sort, and all around it, it seems to be surrounded by this long, trailing seaweed that's at least 10, 12 feet high, as it just kind of wafts like ribbons in the water at the seabed, which isn't too much further below you. However, you also noticed what looks like 2, 3, maybe darker patches in the water around this potential block of stone, this ruin below you. And you see faint movement, and indeed they are roughly humanoid in shape and size.
Okay. We can't speak underwater, can we?
I'm not sure actually. I don't think water breathing technically extends to speaking.
So I want to turn around and kind of do some form of gesture to the rest of them who are kind of following me, point towards what I can see. Yeah, it's best I can really do if we can't speak underwater. And then I'll turn back around and basically go full pelt as fast as I can towards the rock and see what we can do.
Okay, the rest of you see this, and then your Aarakocra companion propels themselves at quite an extreme speed towards what you can now see as this harsh outline of something in the water below you.
Swim
follow.
along with, yeah.
Okay, so as you get closer, you see that you're coming down from above towards what is definitely some kind of sunken stone ruin. It looks to be the remains of some sort of temple long ago eroded and destroyed by the currents of the water. But what remains is a raised square area about 20, 30 feet across, with the remains of pillars on each of the four corners. And in the center is a raised circular dais. And that's what catches your eye first. There is a slight, very slight blue light that you can see coming from above. And then as you start to get a better angle on it, you realize it's not just a sliver of blue light. It's almost as if the surface of a mirror was underwater. It's this two-dimensional circle of bluish greenish light shining out that's easier to see the more horizontal you are in relation to it. From above you can barely see it, but from the side you clearly see this light, and that's not all you see, because you also see 3 figures. Was it 3? As you swim closer you see, no, there's more than that. There's 4 figures. You realize there are 3 humanoid shapes, each standing at equal distance around the outside of this sunken ruin, and then one more right in the center next to this glowing disc shape.
I'm swimming for the disc.
Yep,
Okay.
same. Follow it.
I would
Pepper's
like-
gonna stay with Bobcat.
Okay. Hold on just one second.
How much damage are they going to take?
Okay, well, you see 3 of these figures suddenly jerk and move, and then they look up, and now you're getting even closer. You're probably about 20, 30 feet away from this dais now, and you see these finned, bluish-greenish mottled faces with these long white teeth and these great phalanges that drift off in the water and sway almost elegantly. These creatures look completely at ease in the water, and there is this hissing, furious cry directed at you as 3 of them, the 3 that were around the outside of this stone ruin, turn and start to swim quickly towards you. The other one remains with the disc at the center. I would like everyone to please roll initiative.
Apparently, you can speak with breathing underwater.
Yeah, cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, from now on, I will allow you to speak with breathe underwater. We'll just pretend that the Aarakocra didn't know how the spell worked. And it wasn't me. Okay.
You always blame the bird.
All right.
What did I roll?
14.
Ooh. Okay, I need to check my things. Okie dokie. In that case, could I please have everyone who is 20 or above?
22.
Oh, knick-knack. It's a good roll. I believe the next one looks like it is the 2 16s. Yeah. After that, we have, by the looks of things, Finbar.
Yep, 14.
After that,
Yeah,
you seem to have-
Pepper's at 7.
Pepper's at 7. Cool. Is
Yeah, Bobcat.
also a 7. Okay, cool. Good
Yep.
to know. So you'll be going after the happy water friends. Which you has a high dex? I assume it's Pepper.
Pepper 2.
Yeah, mine's 1.
Okay. Okay, Knick-Knack. These things are surging towards you, or at least 3 of them are. What do you do?
So if we can speak underwater, I'd like to cast Hunter's Mark on the one that's closest to me, please.
Okay, yes, you do so.
Sure. And what range is he at the moment, or it at the moment?
At the moment, they're probably about 20 feet away from you at this point.
Okay. Can I get there and attack on the same turn? Actually, no. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I'd like to go to the closest one and again with the sickle and try and slice through the water into the thing.
Okay, I believe bludgeoning and slashing attacks have disadvantage underwater.
In that case, I'm actually going to do my talent and not use my sickle, just kind of use my... Actually, that's slashing as well, isn't it? Stuff it. We'll do the sickle just because I've already said it.
Okay, roll an attack with disadvantage, please.
Of course. Oh no, come on.
I believe in you.
Oh, there was a nat 20 there. That is 18.
That's still gonna be enough. Please roll your damage for me.
As well. So that is 8.
8 damage, awesome.
I'm happy with
You
that.
spin forward with the sickle. The rest of you see your Aarakocra companion just seem fairly at ease in the water after all of his blustering. Just slice this deep score through the torso of the nearest of these creatures. And indeed, Bobcat, you would recognize them as I can never pronounce this, Sahagin, which
Okay.
are these water kind of twisted, very aggressive aquatic peoples who tend to not get along with the surface dwellers very well at all, as implicated by this unprovoked attack, seemingly.
Okay.
Next up, it is the first Sahagin's turn. Indeed, this is the one that was surging upwards that Knick-Knack has intercepted, so that one is going to take a swing at Knick-Knack.
No!
I know, it's very sad. Firstly, it kind of lunges towards you, and you see as it opens its mouth these rows and rows of shark-like teeth that just snap
Lovely.
out towards you. However, I don't think a 10 is going to cut it.
It does not, no.
Oh, well, you managed to just about pull yourself out of the way of these snapping jaws as it then frustratedly lashes forwards with these equally deadly looking claws on each of its digits. And it misses again. This Aarakocra seems to be more comfortable than he let on underwater.
It's just basically swimming. Basically flying, excuse me. Flying.
That's pretty
That
much
makes
it.
more sense, yeah.
However, the second of these Sahagins surges up to assist its friend and is going to follow up with another attack on you since you are now the closest. Not to victimize you or anything, as these jaws snap shut right next to you. Misses again! What is this mastery? This one, however, is armed with a spear as well as its claws as it tries to jab that out toward you. Come on. What is this? And it misses! You just see this Aarakocra just dodging this way and that, resisting the attacks of two of these creatures effortlessly. As it is now Finbar's turn.
All right. Well, I'm concerned about all of this. I'm not sure what we're doing down here, and now there are fish people attacking us. I wish we were on an island, but I will cast a spell on. Let's see. How many of them are close to me? Are any of them bunched up, or are they sort of spread out fairly well?
So the two attacking your companion Knickknack are very much bunched up together with him.
Okay.
There is one more that's swimming up towards the group, and then the fourth one, which looks a little bit different. It's a lot more brightly colored than the others and doesn't appear to be armed with anything, which is still standing on the dais right next to this disc. And now you're a lot closer. You can see they seem to be holding something small. You can't quite work out what it is, but you can hear this guttural, very... It's got quite a beautiful rhythm to it, this speech that it's uttering, but you can't work out what it's saying.
Well, I'm not going to concern myself altogether too much with that. It sounds like someone else's problem. I will try and help out Knickknack and say, "Look out!" as I cast Thunderwave. And I guess it looks like water just pushing water of the force of the wave. So, con saving throw. If I can manufacture it in such a way that I don't hit Knickknack with my 15-foot cube, I would do so. But if not,
you can probably. Is it like a cone? This force wall.
it's a cube, 15-foot cube originating from me. So yeah.
Okay, you can probably
would need
angle
to
it
be
so
in
they'll get hit by the edge of it and avoid Knickknack. So
Right,
con
right.
saving throws.
Alrighty.
There's my d20.
And it's DC 13 is what they're looking for.
Well, they're both going to fail that, because I'm rolling terribly.
Haha! Just because I am fantastic at casting spells. Then they will take 12 points of force damage, both of them.
Oof.
Beautiful.
And they're pushed
That is
10 feet away from Buddy Knickknack, yeah?
Indeed. So you see the one that Knickknack had already injured is hit with the full force of this this wave of energy, and you hear a shriek, and then they are launched back the 10 feet, and then they just start slowly floating up to the surface the way a dead fish would. The other one does these cartwheels in the water as it's pushed backwards, but still seems to be holding on.
Got him! I say.
Thank you, sir.
The
Nice
third Sagahin sees this horrific occurrence happen to its companions and surges up through the water to attack the one responsible.
I will kill all of your family, sir.
Finally, does a 19 hit you?
Yes. Probably deserved that one.
As you feel the shark-like teeth clamp down onto you, please take 5 damage. As
Ha.
this lovely blood just starts pooling off of you and drifting into the water.
It is lovely, isn't
And
it? Yes.
It seems almost inspired by this, as it wrenches back with a spear, whilst its teeth are still sunk into your arm, relishing the taste of your blood, and makes this strong thrust with the spear. And it gets advantage with this.
Thanks.
I've got to add 3 to both of them. Does a 19 hit you again? I think it does.
This time it doesn't.
Oh, whoa. Wow.
Last time it did. This time I'm not feeling it. Yep.
No, I'm just not feeling it right
That's
now.
the damage.
And
was.
you will take another 9 points of piercing damage as
Oh.
the spear jams through your gut, and more of this blood
My
seeps into the water.
Ugh. Okay, I'm still alive. I'm on 4 HP.
Excellent. So, lastly, the individual at the center of the dais finally seems to look up and kind of finally pay attention to the fact that you're all there. Looks between you and this portal in front of it for another moment, and then sees the corpse of its companion starting to float upwards through the water, and seems to make a decision to stay where it is, and it continues to chant faster. Next up is Pepper.
All right. Am I within range of the one at the center?
You've probably got about 30 feet, and I believe you'll be at half movement in water since you haven't got a swim speed.
Okay. Do I have any of them in the water? Any one of them in range?
Yes, so there are 2 currently in range of you. There's the one that was pushed back 10 feet, which is just about at the edge of your range, and then there's the one that's currently latched on with both tooth and spear to poor Finbar, who is steadily bleeding clouds of blood into the water.
Oh, well, yeah, we might as well give Finbar a hand, so we'll go do that. So I'm going to be at disadvantage with the rapier, I believe. But
Yes.
okay.
And I think normal, if you had a crossbow, I think.
No, I have a short bow.
Okay, I think
so-
that might be
Yeah.
serious.
Sorry, I'm going to go ahead and I'll attack with the rapier at disadvantage, but because I do have an ally in 5 feet, I've got the sneak attack.
Yeah, it will cancel that out to be a normal attack. Won't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
No, I don't have it. It doesn't give me the ally doesn't give me advantage. Just gives me sneak
Oh
attack.
yes, it would do if it was sneak attack. Okay, that makes sense. Cool.
Okay.
Rogues, man, they're so mousy.
I know. I know. All right, so. And I was supposed to roll that with disadvantage.
Technically, yes. No, that's tragic and very sad.
All right,
As you
so yeah, I come in with the rapier, but I'm going to come offhand with the dagger.
Go for it.
All right, and that's just a straight roll. And that's a 19 to hit.
That's definitely going to hit.
All right, and so I will get sneak attack with that,
Mm-hmm.
of course.
Just as well, really.
So that's 3 plus 7, 10
Ooh.
points with the dagger.
So whilst you manage to just slash wild with your rapier, as you stab with the dagger, you manage to find whatever vital point this fish creature has, and you seem to strike something particularly important as the eyes roll back in this large skull. The skin is kind of stretched over it, almost semi-translucent. And then, Finbar, you feel the jaws loosen on you as it starts to also float upwards.
I had that one. If I needed to, I had it.
Yes, I saw that. It had you.
I thought you did.
Yes, yes.
It's your turn, Bobcat.
Yeah, so once again, Bobcat sees Finbar over there flailing around, bleeding, like, so I'm gonna swim over to him, say, listen, dude, you need to learn how to handle yourself, and I'm gonna touch him and cast Cure Wounds.
I don't even
First
want to
level.
be here. I blame you for all of this. Oh man.
He did only want to steal a boat, and now he's being
I want-
underneath the
I want to be
wave.
on an island.
I give him 6 hit points back. And as a bonus action, can I shove a good berry in his mouth?
I'll let you because I like the image that's creating. Please restore your hit points. And we are back up the top of the round with Knick-Knack.
Okay, so my hunt. Is the creature I cast Hunter's Mark on still alive? Yeah.
That one has been killed.
Okay, fair enough. In that case, I should have been paying a bit more attention. Because I can do the bonus action, I can switch that to I can switch that to a new creature. So again, I want to take the mark on the closest one to me, please.
Yeah. So there is one more of these warrior Sagaheens that is engaging with you. It's one of the ones that swam up aggressively to meet you and managed to miss all of its attacks. So roll to hit.
Yeah. With disadvantage again, right?
Yes.
Oh, 6.
Alas, it's not quite enough as you swing and it manages to dodge out of the way, giving a bit of a taste of your own medicine. Sadly. However, the two other Sagaheen that went before you are dead, so Finbar, it's your turn.
I'm going to cast Cure Wounds on myself.
Not
I
a
could
bad
do this all
idea.
along, you know. I just decided not to. That's a D8 plus maths. Good. Alrighty. In that case, I heal myself back up for 10, so I'm back up
That's
to full, and I make sure I am nowhere near anything that might try and eat me this round.
Alright,
So I pat myself back up.
Alright, so the Sagaheen that is engaged with Knick-Knack, and they're both trading blows at the moment, suddenly looks down at its companion, the one still by the kind of the disc-shaped portal of light, and then it takes the disengage action and swims away from you. And that's its turn. The one down by the disc looks up at all of you and raises these clawed appendages. And you see it has suspended in front of it and what looks like a kind of glowing bubble of some sort. Some rectangular, thin object. Two of you think you might know what this is. However, you don't have much time to contemplate this. Because I would like all of you to roll, because I think you're all... This is three-dimensional space, and that's very difficult. But I would like you all to roll a dexterity saving throw as you feel a sudden chill in the water around you, and then shadows fall over all of you. And those of you that look up see, almost materializing out of the water, these immense chunks of ice that then plunge down, striking through the water to smash into all of you.
I
Ooh, nice.
regret to inform that I rolled a 6 there, so
I'm 16.
that's the thing.
23 for
Okay, everyone else has passed the saving throw. So you're going to take half the damage that I roll from Finbar, who's going to take all of it.
Don't say that
Okay,
like
so-
it's so fucking happy.
Sorry. So firstly, 12 of bludgeoning damage, and then a following 14 points of cold damage.
So dead.
Finbar's going to take 28 points of damage. Chunks of ice, practically icebergs, surge down and smash into you, just breaking your poor bardic body apart. And the rest of
I've
you are
taken
going
like 60
to take,
damage this game.
the rest of you are going to take 13 points of damage as these will crash into you.
Yikes. Good night, sweet prince.
you said 14? I'm sorry, Rach, how much did you said? 14 damage is what we took?
It's 13 for everyone apart from Finbar, who takes 26. Sorry, my maths was a bit off.
Okay. Thanks.
That'll still do it.
How you doing, Finbar? Are you alright?
I'm very unconscious right now.
Thankfully, you can still breathe the water. You're okay. For now.
Pepper's close.
Kill him.
And Pepper, it's now your turn.
Right. Okay. Pepper's not feeling all that well all of a sudden from this. Let's see. Got it. Yeah, she's gonna. Who's closest to her? Who's the what? What does she have closest to her?
Closest to you at the moment is probably both Bobcat and Finbar, because Bobcat went up to heal Finbar just before this struck.
All right, bad guys.
Bad guys, there is one of the kind of warrior types that swam to make sure it was at least 20 feet away from this when it hit, so it avoided the ice storm. And then the mage, which is still at the bottom, standing on the dais next to this disc of light.
All right, bonus action to dash. Can I get to the mage?
Yes, I think you would be with a bonus action.
All right, bonus action dash to get to the mage, and then rapier attack.
Okay.
Even at disadvantage. That's an 8. And then we'll do the dagger.
Yep.
Offhand. Which is a straight attack. That's a 22.
Oof.
So, and love the
damage.
rakish audacity. I don't need advantage on the attack for sneak attack if the creature is if there's no other creature other than the target within 5 feet of me. So
That's absolutely true.
we'll do. Let's see. Oh, let me just do that. Okay. Oh no. Sorry, I'm still learning rogue rules, y'all.
That's okay.
So that's
That's a
4.
good thing.
6
Okay.
total.
6 total, that's not bad. As you get a good slash in with this dagger, you see this this dark blood starting to pool into the water from the mage, and it looks shocked that you're kind of still going after that spell, and kind of stumbles back a little bit. Next up is Bobcat.
I'm going to back off
Oh, yeah.
10 feet from him using fancy footwork.
Okay.
All
Must be very
right.
fancy underwater.
Yes, it
So
is.
fancy.
Particularly fancy.
She looks like Esther Williams.
How close can I get to the mage now?
Let's see. You're probably about 20 feet from it, I think. I think you could probably get to it in this turn, because if Pep could, you could.
Okay, then I would like to get semi-close to it, and I'm going to cast Thunder Wave, making sure that I'm not hitting Pepper since she backed away.
Yeah, you can position the cube so that it doesn't get your party member in there. And so I believe I've got
Okay.
21 things.
You have to make a save. Yep.
Yeah. Con. Ooh. What's the DC?
Oh, 13.
It does make the save, just about.
Okay. That's okay. You still have to take none of it, right? I don't know. I don't think any of it. I love new spells. Sorry.
Hang on, I can quickly check for you.
Oh, you do have to take half. Sorry.
I guess saying
Yay.
usually it's half. Beautiful roll there, just beautiful.
You just
what a
take
great
one.
roll. One
You
little
just take
damage.
one.
There's this little kind of popping sound.
I would like to back away if I can. Whatever amount I have left, if any.
Okay. So next up, back up to Knick-Knack. You've got one Sargwin that just swam away from you and is at this point about 30 feet from you, and then you have the one about 20 feet below you.
Sure. So my hunter's mark is still on the one that's swimming away. Can I get to
Yes.
him and attack him?
Okay, yeah, go for it.
Yeah, sure. So I'm going to chase after him and do. It worked really well the first time. It didn't work the second time, and it'll probably work as bad the third time. So we'll try it again.
Guess we'll find out.
Here we go. We're going to do rubbish.
No,
Hey,
those
14.
are both pretty good. 14. All right, yeah, that's gonna hit. Roll me some damage.
Cool. So we got the. We have 7 points of slashing
Very
damage.
respectable 7 points of slashing damage. All right, as you lay into the Sargwin as it was trying to kind of it had stopped and turned like it was going to come back and continue the fight once it got out of the way of its companion's spell, and then all of a sudden you're up in its face and slashing with this sickle, and it seems a bit shocked. Next up is Finbar.
Am I up?
Not right now. I think we're in
Then-
the saving throw territory.
I'll make a death saving throw. And I rolled an 8, so I am
Oh.
playing now.
Oops.
Ah well. Good night. Goodbye, world. Cruel world.
Knick-Knack, the Sagahin that you went to engage now trades blows with you and is going to try and slash back with its claws. Does a 12 hit you?
Sorry,
Knick-Knack?
who's...
Does a 12 hit you?
12 did not hit me. No, sorry, excuse me. Sorry. Fraser.
Alright, just about these claws glance off of you and it's frustrated and it's angry and it's going to try and go in for a bite. Now, you are currently losing quite a bit of blood because of the chunks of ice that struck you. So it's going to get advantage on this attack. And add a 3 to this as well. However, it doesn't matter because its jaws snap shut on water as, once again, with these super avian reflexes, you manage to dodge out of the way of the attack. It is now the mage's turn, who looked as if they were going to try and turn back to wherever it was they were working on. However, they have been intercepted with Pepper and must therefore react. Pepper is all up in their face. And so they make this kind of quick, very fluid hand motion, and they're going to cast a magic missile on Pepper. I think I've used a d4 yet this game. Lovely. And so they can go through these, and then +3.
This could get interesting.
9. Owie, okay, you take a total of 12 points of damage, Pepper, as these 3 bolts of kind of whitish, bluish light slam into you like darts.
Pepper is floating along with Finbar now.
Rip us.
You're fine, guys. Everything's fine. I mean, it was Pepper's turn next, so please could you make a death saving throw?
It's not going great.
I would absolutely love to. I've done this so many times already this week. That is a nat 20.
Whoa.
So you
There
go
it
back
is.
up to
Talk
1 hit
about
point, I
clutch.
believe.
Yep.
Am I correct?
Uh,
Back up to 1?
Yep.
Pick up to 1.
Beautiful. You just feel this renewed vigor. No, you are not going down. You have children to feed when you get back.
Except I've got Oscar. I've got to go back
And
to
Oscar
Oscar.
is
So I just look
waiting
at the
for
mage
you.
and go,
Bobcat, it is your turn.
Oh no. Okay, so we've got the mage. Is the other one still floating around? Sorry, I missed it.
Yes, the mage is the one that just dealt the damage to Pepper. And then the
Right,
other
but
one
it's
is
not-
currently engaged. Knick-Knack is engaged with the other one.
Okay.
There's just the 2 remaining.
Okay. I think that I am going to produce a flame, a magical flame, and shoot it at that stupid mage.
Go
Yes,
for it.
that's
Is
what I'm
this
gonna
Is this a ranged spell attack?
Yeah, I have to make an attack.
Do it. We're going to be at disadvantage because it's magic, so...
A what now? It will or will not?
No, it'll be normal.
Oh, okay.
It's magic.
Huh.
That's a d12. Roll d20. Roll
Is it?
d20.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
yeah, yeah.
why does this keep happening to me? They keep getting mixed up.
I know, I keep resetting mine because I can't stand them being
15.
messed up. That's going to hit. Roll damage.
Yeah. The damage is gonna be a D8. This guy. 7.
7. Beautiful. Okay, so you see this mage is suddenly slammed with this magical flame. It doesn't seem to have ever seen anything like this before as it reels back in horror and makes this kind of kind of shrieking sound in pain
Ooh.
as this fire licks over it.
I like it.
Yeah, and we are up to Knick-Knack.
Yes,
You're
he's really pissed me off now. He is proper pissed me off. So I'm just gonna have to try again.
Go for it.
I've got nothing witty to say about it. He's just an arsewipe.
No time for witty comments.
Oh, well, no, that's definitely not gonna hit.
Alas. Would you like to make...
No, it definitely doesn't hit.
Do you have any weapon to make an offhand attack with?
Yeah, I could quickly pop out a dagger to do pretty much the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm. This one doesn't have disadvantage though because it's a
Piercing,
well, daggers are exempt because they're stabby.
Oh, that's
All
a
right.
24 to hit.
Yes,
Yes.
definitely gonna hit. Roll some dagger damage, and I believe you still get your hunter's mark damage too
You get the
because
Hunter's
it's
Mark,
still
yeah.
affecting. Yeah.
Oh yeah, this does even more. Why haven't I not been using my dagger more? I'm such a fool.
5.
10.
Beautiful. Okay,
right.
and with that, you stab deep into this Sagahin, and once again, like there is this bloom of dark blackish red blood out from where you make this wound, and with this kind of gasping, retching sound, this thing looks pretty ropey at this point. This is, as we say, very bloodied. Next up is Finbar, but Finbar is not here, so we're gonna let them make their second death saving throw when they return. Just remind me as soon as Will gets back, okay? And we are on to the very weakened Sagahin, who is now attempting to fight to the end as it attempts to get a slash in at Knick-Knack with its jaws once again. And again, Knick-Knack is hurt, so it gets advantage. Okay, I think either of those are going to hit you, sadly. 9 is the best it's going to do.
Yeah, it definitely does not hit.
No, enraged, it goes in for another go with those claws. An 11 is its best bet,
No, it
and I'm
doesn't.
pretty sure it doesn't hit you either. Again, you
Oh
are
my
the
God.
evasion wizard. My god. It's getting increasingly furious that it just can't hit you. Meanwhile, down on the dais, the mage is looking kind of... Well, it's just received a face full of fire from Bobcat, and seemingly this gnome it just struck down with a magic missile has returned from the dead out of nowhere. So it starts to back away, and it starts chanting faster and faster, seemingly now desperate, as it speaks into this bubble it's holding in its hands. Pepper, could you please make a perception check for me?
I would love to make a perception check for you. 11.
Okay, 11. That's enough. So as you're floating there with renewed vigor, you notice movement past the mage. Indeed, inside this disc of bluish green light, and you realize that this disc has been progressively getting larger and larger the longer this combat has been going on, the longer this chanting has been going on, and you now see what looks like something moving past it. A enormous tentacle that's broader than the entire disc itself. All you can really see is one of the suckers on this tentacle, and then another as this thing moves and shifts past this portal.
Well, that's not good. Have we seen the card yet? Is the mage holding the card?
You can see in this glowing bubble in its hand something that looks about the right size and shape. And it is now your turn, Pepper.
I don't suppose that the rogue would be allowed to try and steal the bubble card.
I mean, you
a
are a
mage?
rogue, so I don't see why you couldn't give it a go. It's going to be a sleight of hand check against a dexterity. Actually, I think it's just going to be opposed sleight of hand checks.
Okay.
What is this going to get?
$17.
Yeah, You manage to swipe this bubble out of its hands as you swim towards it, and it's backing away, it's chanting, its eyes are almost closed as it's concentrating on whatever it's doing, and you just swipe this bubble clean out of its hands, and you are now holding it in your arms.
I would like to I'm going to bonus action dash away with my 1
Okay.
HP and the card.
I think that does provoke attack of opportunity because you're suddenly leaving its space?
Let's see. Oh,
Dash
how about
control.
it? So my action was the sleight of hand.
Yeah?
Can I still make a bonus action offhand weapon attack with my dagger?
Yes, you can.
All right, so we'll do that. All right. 13.
That just barely hits roll damage.
All right, and do I have an ally within 5 feet?
At this point,
I
you don't.
Oh no, I
because
don't. Never mind.
Bobcat
Okay.
threw the fire rather than.
That's right.
So I will still get sneak attack on this. So that's 4 plus 9. And then with the fancy footwork, because I've made it a melee attack on him, I won't get the opportunity attack as I move away.
Rogues, man.
Yep. Love that swashbuckler.
All right, you lunge out with this dagger before darting away, and you plunge it straight into the chest of this creature. And again, this dark blood blossoms out over these. It's almost as if it's wearing robes, but it's more the way the fins of the creature fall and fold around it that give it the appearance of robes. Its clawed hand kind of, whereas it was going to grab for the bubble once again, instead it clutches its chest and lurches forwards. It's still just about holding itself together, but it's looking incredibly dire for this creature. And Bobcat, it is now your turn.
Yeah, and I already have a flame ready for him, and I'm gonna toss it right at his chest, and I'm gonna miss him.
And Pepper's yelling, let's
On
go!
purpose.
Somebody grab Pimbar's body, let's go!
As the flame misses the Sahagin priest, it instead hits the mirror-like surface of the portal, and you see it almost suspended for a moment before it seems to merge through to the other side, and then it continues its trajectory, fizzling against this enormous wall of flesh as another tentacle moves past the portal. And all of a sudden, the whole area is shook and just vibrates with this tremendous rumbling, roaring sound, which is such a low frequency that you more feel it in your skin and in your teeth than you hear it.
Don't like.
And it's now
Don't
Nick next
like
turn.
at all.
Christ.
Swim away, swim away!
Do not want. Am I still down? Did I miss a death save, by the way? I'm sorry if I did.
Oh,
Yes.
yes, you need to make one for me now. I said I'd make you
Okay.
do it and you go back.
Yeah. Don't roll a 1. Yeah, just a 6. Just a 6.
She's got one
We'll
turn
find
left.
it, guys. Just a character I
Knick-knack,
played
it's
for
your
5 years. Don't worry about it.
It's fine. People in Revive are fine in Waterdeep.
It's fine. Yeah. The resurrection's okay.
Alright, Knick-knack, you have one Sagwin in dire condition that's engaged with you.
Yeah, I am gonna not use my sickle this time and use my dagger like I should have been doing from the bloody start. Just
Just a
Right.
normal attack.
just a normal attack. Watch this miss. Oh, 12. Does that hit?
Yeah, 12 just about hits. These regular Sagwin do not have the highest of AC.
And he's still got Hunter's Mark on him as well.
He does indeed.
So we have that is. Let me do that properly, excuse
That's
me.
a bad miss.
Fine, we'll take the previous one. So that's 5 plus. So that's 8 points damage.
Alright, that's enough as you slice its hold from you and you watch it drift away and start to float upwards, the same as its dead companions, as you have dealt with this
Leave it
Sagwin
him.
warrior.
Bye-bye.
Finbar.
Don't make me do it.
It's your turn, I'm afraid. It's come round again.
I passed my turn. Give me your power. Give me your energy, chat.
I love how no one came to stabilize you.
I really don't want to fail this dice roll. I would be very. This might ruin my evening, actually. So. Oh,
No.
thank God.
There you go.
I was prepared to ruin my whole day with my dice roll.
I wouldn't want to be responsible
invested.
for that. I really wouldn't.
So
Somebody
you
save
failed
me.
too?
Chat, save me.
Finbar is
I'm
one of
two
those
down,
people,
I'm
though.
out.
Oh, okay.
People have been trying to kill Finbar for years and nobody's succeeded yet.
Made it. He's been a total dickhead every Thursday for like 4 years now. I can't let him go.
All right, it is the mage's turn. The mage is still backing up, and is just looking between all of you now. And I'm gonna roll a wisdom saving throw for this dingus. Okay, that's pretty good. That's good enough. As the mage is going to raise a hand. I'm just going to quickly look up what this does.
Chat, give me a nat 20. Someone in chat, give me a nat 20. I'll give you 10,000 gold in chat. Crazy.
And
You'll be mod.
Bribery.
you hear a voice in your head. I suggest you return that to me. I would like you to roll a wisdom saving throw.
Who?
This is to Pepper.
Staffan is the man. There it is. Whew. Thank you, man.
And I believe
That's not good.
with a 7, you feel this voice subtly tug at your mind, and yeah, this doesn't belong to you. You should probably give this. You should probably give this back. It is now your turn.
It's now Pepper's turn.
Yeah.
So she's gonna swim back towards him, and as she's extending the bubble out to him, she's going to attack him with her dagger.
Okay.
Because
And I
he's still-
believe.
Because he didn't make her friendly to him or anything like that. He just told her to return the card. But she will turn the card. She's also going to attack him.
I think that makes sense. Yeah, I think. Do you get disadvantage on an action if you attempt to do something that isn't what you were asked to do?
No, I don't think so.
No, I don't think you do. I think you can make.
I mean, he's
Yeah.
not charmed me. He's just made a suggestion, and I'm doing
That's
what he
true.
suggested.
Suggestion isn't as strong as charm person, so yeah, go for it. But you still feel the compulsion to give it back.
Yep. All right. So is giving it back my action?
Yes, I would say what would happen is you are compelled to follow the order, so you would use the action to pass it back. However, at that point, you've completed the task, so the spell fades, and you'd have a bonus action.
Okay. Bonus action attack with the dagger.
Yeah.
For
That's
20.
a hit! So you pass over the bubble with the card inside for your action, and in a very Arya Stark fashion, you kind of grab your knife with your other hand
Oof.
and kind of shank him in the chest as if it was the Night King. And
For
there is an immediate blossom of blood, and the eyes of this Sargwyn mage just widen for a second as this kind of and it slowly starts to float upwards.
Great. I take the bubble back, and I use my bonus. Oh no, I've already used my bonus action. I'm
Well,
just going
with that,
to spin.
you are out of initiative. In any case, And the next
Yeah.
turn would be Bobcat. So if we go by turn, just for now, because someone might die, Bobcat. As far as you can tell, all of the Sagahin have been vanquished. However, there is a Finbar floating steadily up.
Yeah,
bleeding
and
profusely.
Bobcat doesn't know anything about chat or nat 20s or anything like that. So Bobcat would have gone over and given a little bit of cure wounds one more time to Finbar. And you will get 9 hit points back.
Oh,
And I won't even say anything to this time. I'll just to him. I'll just look at him and be like, just shake my head.
You're not angry, you're just very disappointed.
Exactly. And I swim away.
How dare you be hit by tons of falling ice shards?
Off to an island now.
and with that,
I'm done.
Finbar retires.
So done.
So, Pepper, you are still holding this glowing bubble, and you can see the silhouette of a card inside.
I am headed for the surface, and as I'm headed for the surface, I'm examining the bubble to see if I can reach in and take the card.
It feels it's almost like a membrane. You can't press through it with your fingers, but you feel like it could be pierced with something sharp.
Oh, she's still got her dagger, so
Right,
So
could
kinda-
you just do a damage roll for me just to see how much you do in this time?
certainly. I don't know why I rolled D4 3.
Okay, that's enough. I just wanted to see. As you pierce this bubble, there is a sudden, you almost feel like a hum of energy in your hands for a moment before there is a sudden burst of light, and you are momentarily blinded as this light dissipates. Before you see the card in front of you just floating innocently in the water. It doesn't seem remotely affected or damaged by being in water, but as you do this, you're aware of the light from below flickering and fading, and the rest of you hear again this furious rumble that just passes through the ocean all around you as that portal flickers and slowly dies. And whatever was on the other side is lost to wherever it was.
She takes the card and continues swimming for the surface. And then once there, she'll climb on board the ship.
Okay,
Finbar's already
how
up
about the
there,
rest-
sailing away. He's trying to sell the ship, but he doesn't know how to use it. Oh, you can help. Yes, I was just getting it warmed up. I was
there's
getting
an anchor.
The engine. I was getting the engine started. I've got
Did you
it
pull up the
I had it
anchor?
parked. Have you done that? It's not in my purview.
Right.
How about Bobcat and Knick-Knack? What are you two up to?
Yeah, the
So-
rumbling is like terrifying. Bobcat was swimming like triple time to get back to the surface.
Yeah, and I'm just behind Bobcat, just trying to get up to the boat. And, with Finbar already there, when I'm clambering over, I just basically give him a really filthy look because I can see him trying to get the boat away really quickly.
Well, you managed to all get up there, and as soon as you get over the railing, Pepper, Oscar is almost immediately like pounced on top of you and licking your face and just bounding around, and his tail's wagging like crazy. He's just very happy to see you.
It's a good boy.
Well,
That's a
welcome back
good
on
boy,
board.
Oscar. 1 hit point. She's like hanging onto the dog. Hanging onto Oscar. She's got her arms around his neck.
He kind
Good
of
boy.
sees this and crouches down a bit as if to offer like you can just kind of sit on his back and he'll walk you around.
Yeah. Oh, as soon as she sees Bobcat, she's like, "Here's the card."
Bobcat takes the card and kind of pats you on the shoulder and says, "Good work, little one." And with that, you get 6 hit points back.
I'm so pleased you have a healer in the party. That's some
I,
description.
I can heal. I'm just always dead.
go back to Waterdeep. Let's go.
What? No, not to
I-
Waterdeep. What are you talking about? We're taking the boat
To
out to an
Ireland.
island. There's got to be an island out here somewhere.
I tell you what. Once we have to go back to Waterdeep because gold bracelet, lose hand thing. Once we get off at the docks, you can take the boat and go to an island if you'd like.
All right, we'll drop you off then. That sounds.
Since you're
Excellent.
so adept at boats
Yep.
Yes.
and all that. Yeah,
Yes.
I'm sure you'll be
Now
fine
you have
on your own.
Finbar's pleasure yacht.
Correct again. I like this. I like Sandalers a lot, actually. Good. Well, back to Waterdeep then.
Excellent. And the four of you do indeed head back to Waterdeep. You return the boat to certainly some very odd glances from the watch, who have almost stayed on the docks awkwardly, not sure what to do, but then you almost get the impression
They
that
didn't even get
someone-
another boat and follow us. They just fucking
No,
watched us
they
go
were
out a
just
little bit. And they're like,
unsure of, do we really want to follow that ghost ship? They're a little bit superstitious, and you also get the impression
I don't blame them.
by the fact that you aren't immediately arrested and put to Waterdavian justice, the fact that it sounds like someone came and spoke to them and perhaps explained the situation, and that what you were doing was trying to recover the lost crewmates. You never find out quite who this was, but someone somewhere has smoothed things over for you to put you in a slightly better position than you otherwise might have been. That doesn't, however, mean that they give you the boat. So there is another slight boat heist.
I'm intending. I'll tell you what. Finbar is intending to sort of like fly by, drop off Bodcat and Pepper. They can like jump off onto the dock, and I keep
Toss
it moving. Keep it
And they're like,
going.
oh,
Let it
you've
roll out.
returned the... Oh. As you sail
See you
off
next year.
over the
I went to the
horizon.
island.
And Knick-Knack, do you depart with Finbar, or do you stay in Waterdeep?
Oh, that's a really, really good question. I think I should stay in Waterdeep for the Myron.
It's just you and me on the open sea, my friend. Just the two of us, the whole time.
See, now that's the scariest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, that strikes absolute fear into Knick-Knack's heart. So scuttle off the
The
ship,
po-
wave goodbye, and leave Finbar to his
Farewell, friends.
pleasure boat.
the post-credit scene is actually Finbar just ramming into an island because he doesn't know how to stop the boat.
I end up like 10 meters down the coast. Like...
It feels like you must have stayed
Oh.
hundreds of miles, surely, by then.
Right.
Somehow he
and
ends up with a volleyball.
Volleyball's got a veil peeled back slowly. Do you take this volleyball?
This is the worst island too. There's not a drink in sight.
Right.
Yeah. Where's the rum gone?
Awful place.
It's not great. Meanwhile, the two of you, Pepper and Bobcat, you return once again successful to to start with, if you wish to return to Corellan's curios, you can, but either way, you can reunite the deep card to the rest of the deck. And over the course of the evening, you will discover from Markello, who appraises the card, that the deep card gives you the ability to cast the water-breathing spell once per day.
Ooh.
And well done, you have now retrieved your second card of the deck. And didn't die.
Well,
None of you died.
not
you
permanently.
Came close, but you made it. I'm very proud of all of you, and
We're
thank
pretty
you all
close.
so much for playing today.
Pleasure.
Yay!
Yes!
Great job, everybody. Awesome.
That was
Oh,
so
what
fun.
an adventure. I can't believe I
I didn't
survived.
kill you, but it was more satisfyingly close than last time.
I took like 60 damage this game, and I have like 15 HP. So yeah, that was.
there was real
sort of
fear in
too
your
close
eye
for me,
at
but-
one point.
Yeah, I was fucking stressed. I was prepared to quit this stream. I was gonna walk.
Man, having someone rage quit my game would be quite an achievement.
I was gonna quit the game afterwards as well, not just this one.
Sorry, ERP.
Man, good times. Table flip, yeah. Good times. Oh boy. Thank you guys for watching and joining us today. Don't go anywhere because I'm going to DM a game here in a few moments, which is Nibiru. We're doing the premiere episode 1 here in a few moments. It's a sci-fi game, so stick around. Some horror vibes, no doubt, will be coming out. So stick with me for that. And Coca will be joining us for that game as well. But I'm dying. I'm drowning. Oh no, I'm method.
No.
I'm very method. I drank like a gallon of water before I did this. But let's go around the cast and the crew. Did we enjoy ourselves? Where can we find you guys online? Let's start with Rachel. Great job tonight. How was that for you?
That was so much fun. Seriously, all you guys were amazing, and thanks for sticking with all the watery shenanigans. Oh, I see someone in chat mentioned the World Magic Surge. So the World Magic Surge that Bobcat got was actually really interesting, and funnily enough, it would have been great had it targeted literally anyone else, because it essentially meant that Bobcat could not be killed whilst they were sleeping, which kind of means unconscious as well. So it kind of means you can't die if you go unconscious. So, I mean, it didn't need to be a thing, but, pretty
That's
good
beautiful.
backstop. So it was a good one. Well,
I still got it for later.
Ooh.
Yeah, we'll work out whether those
that.
carry over. But yes, you can find me on Twitter with I'm at Talanir. I do some art stuff occasionally. It's not very interesting. But yeah, you can find me here on Thursday starting 5 p.m. Eastern time for obviously this wonderful game, which I'm enjoying so much every week on Thursdays. And then on Tuesdays, you can find me. So this week I was on Susanna Grace's channel with our Witcher tabletop role-playing game. And then on the alternate Tuesday, so this is next week, and then they kind of flip-flop between the two, I'll be on the Nerdsmith channel playing Final Rites, which is an all-tiefling jaunt down the river Styx, which is a bit of fun. And yeah, I had a great time tonight, and I'm so grateful for everyone who came to watch. I love you all so much, and all my wonderful players who took everything I threw at them with grace and aplomb. So thank you all very much.
Fantastic. Awesome. And Berniesaurus, how was that tonight for you?
That was so great. I want to say that I was honored to be able to play with the great Finbar. That was a true treat for me. But yeah, I had a blast. That was a super fun game. That whole underwater thing I thought was going to be a little more deathy. And so I'm glad we all made it out of there, for sure. But I am Birdie, aka the Birdiesaurus. You can find me all over the internet under that name, including on Twitch. I'm a variety streamer, twitch.tv/the when I have time and when I'm not playing D&D with wonderful folks like you. And that's about it. So I have a new, an old game that's coming back again. We've been on hiatus for a little while. It's twitch.tv/weirdling. So we'll be coming back in a couple of weeks with the Heroes of Awesome. So look out for that.
Awesome. Fantastic stuff. And Cleric Accord, how's that tonight for you? And Pepper?
That was really nice. That was really good. The nat 20 on the death save, I could have used that yesterday when I was down to 2 failures, but I was glad it was there today. Being able to sleight of hand the card from the mage, that was fun. I enjoyed that. I'm still learning rogues, but I sure do love them. I'm Kat. I'm at Cleric of Cord. You can find me mostly here during the week playing different tabletop games. As a matter of fact, I'll be back in a few minutes for the sci-fi game. Tomorrow, I'll be here at 2 p.m. Eastern with my DM, Kevin Hitt, who's in chat right now, I believe, exploring the world of Greyhawk with a little halfling paladin by the name of Birdsong Periwinkle. Mondays, it's Inquisitor 40K, you mutants and masterminds, returning for our 2nd season. And then on Tuesdays nights, you can find me at, I'll tell you what, just go check my pinned tweet on my page, at Cleric of Cord on Twitter. Find out where I'm at, where I'm playing, and I'll see you in chat.
Fantastic. And last but not least, Seven of Diamonds, great to have you with us tonight. How was that for you?
Yeah, that was really, really good. Really, really great fun had by all. Great company, so thank you very much. Great GM as well. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you very much for everything tonight. You can find me at 7 of Diamonds on Twitter, Instagram, sometimes on Twitch, not as much anymore because I am a lazy son of a gun. Yeah, so happy days, everyone.
Fantastic. Awesome. Well, that's all we have time for here tonight on the Deck of Many Worlds. If you're going to follow me on Twitter, you've made it thus far, and I trust that you can find your way to Twitter and type in the name that you found here, Encounter RP, in order to find me there. But I'll be back in a few minutes' time for Nibiru, episode 1, which is a sci-fi role-playing game of lost memories, so stick with us for that. But until next time, my friends, try not to roll too many now ones. We want to be here laughing when you do. Good night, everybody.